check. Still. Run the back through the corner. Lane up through the trial zone. Not sure why we did that. I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everybody to get to the bottom. Maybe we should just run all out and wait until after the fourth pit. Get out of the gas, slow down. Somebody split up right in front of me.
Here comes that number 15 of Cameron Combs. Combs trying to line with his Kurt Sponsler. Sponsler will pick up stage win. Mr. Garland and Garland leading the way, showing these drivers how to get it done.
Engines roar louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast League, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends, never out of sight. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends, never out of sight. Racetrack gladiators, helmets on tight. Every second matters, every turn ignites. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray. Louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back in as the Outcast Racing League back in action as another season is upon us. And for the Outcast drivers, they are ready to get the season underway. They are ready to try and put themselves up and into victory lane and trying to win our championship again this year. We got some new faces and new places, and we got a lot of the same old drivers that have been here in the past that are back trying to reclaim their glory here this afternoon and throughout the rest of the season, as Landesco coming in as well. Huge shout out there to Landesco as the Landesco 400 here this afternoon from Auto Club Speedway's drivers. Done their practice session. They're sliding out onto the racetrack right now. They are going to get their qualifying laps in and trying to lay down some quick times here, trying to put themselves into a position to maybe qualify in that pole spot here this afternoon as the Landesco number 9 rider Tyler Humphrey. He's going to jump out there. Great to see Mr. Humphrey back out there on the racetrack. We do see Wayne Garland in his beautiful number 84 ride. He's ready to rock and roll. Josh Bromfield out there as well. There's Bromfield. He's ready to get after it. Grant Humphrey as well in on the action as the Must Love Poodles number 48 ride. Man, I like that paint scheme. That is a beautiful looking ride, and I love the the Jimmy Johnson number 48 numbers there as well. Man, that thing is looking absolutely fresh out there on the Speedway. Chris Wolford out there as well. Wolford looking for a solid run this afternoon. We do see Ryan Anderson as well out there on the racetrack in that 7-Eleven, the Slurpee machine, as the 44 will get ready to rock and roll. Johnny Barker in the number 6 ride here this season. So Johnny Barker, one of the new drivers out there as well this afternoon. We do see Jonathan Byram out there Byram, I feel like we've seen Jonathan Byram, but more or less on dirt track stuff. I could be wrong. I could be thinking of a different guy. Maybe I'm thinking of a different Byram, but I believe I've seen Jonathan in quite a few of our dirt races here on Peacemaker Gaming, as we do see Rob Lowell out there on the racetrack as well. See if we can get Rob's paint scheme to load in here. It is not loading in unless if he's just in a plain Jane paint scheme here. I don't know if he's just in a white paint scheme or not. We'll have to wait and see if the refresh will get that fixed up and get that loaded in and see if we can get a good look here at this 21 ride. As right now he does have the quick time here in this qualifying session. Doesn't look like he's got a paint scheme, Chad. It's just plain Jane white race car. I don't know if that's on my end or if that's on his end. That paint scheme has not loaded in. Everyone else's has seemed to load in without an issue, as we do see Mike Killingbeck in that Lawrence Tech University number 70 ride sliding out there onto the racetrack. Here's Nicholas Barton in the Shaw Landscaping ride. Great to see Nick back out there, and our boy Anthony Garland. There's Mr. Garland in that Poor Boy Motorsports number 81 machine rolling out there on the racetrack. He's got a beautiful logo here on the front of this thing too as well. Let's take a look and see what logo he's got on the hood of this race car, as there it is, the Poor Boy Motorsports. Living fast, dying broke. Is that what it says? Okay, yeah. Living fast and dying broke. The Poor Boy motto. We love it, as right now he's currently qualified in that 10th position as Colton Manage. Great to see Manage back out there as the Williamsburg Contracting Racing 0-0 up and into about the 6th position here in this qualifying session. We do see Jamison Heath out there as well in the 71. And a lot of other amazing drivers here. Here's Mark Belair. That is the father, I do believe. Yeah, it is the dad of Edward Belair, who's a regular here, who ran all last season. So good to see, father-son duo out there on the racetrack. Another one out there on the Speedway. Dom Salvo out there as well. Let's take a look here at the 28 ride here this season for Salvo. Is Salvo into position number 24 as of right now. We'll see if he can find a little extra speed on lap number 2. Brandon Puffenbarger in his first lap, he's able to jump up into the 9th position, but right now it's Rob Lowell who's got the quick time here in qualifying. We'll have to wait and see if somebody can knock him into that top spot. The 2 of Corey Crowell. Not sure why Crowell's paint scheme here hasn't loaded in as well, but right now he's in about the 19th position, and it looks like for all these drivers, they're going to run out of time, unfortunately. They run out of time. They do not get any extra attempts or another pass here to try to lay down a quick time on the racetrack. Little Chubby 99 says, any link to the league Discord? I'm not sure if they're taking any new drivers or not. If they are, you can jump over to their website at www.outcastracingligue.com. That is the OutcastRacingLeague.com, and you should be able to find their Discord information there and any other information on the league as well. As we'll get ready to rock and roll, we'll get ready to rumble here as qualifying has come to a close. And for the Landesco 400 here this afternoon, our season opener is about to get underway for what is going to be another incredible year, another incredible season here with the Outcast Racing League. Man, this is going to be a ton of fun here in this one as I did get a message from Humphrey. Says we are having some paint issues within the lobby. You may want to control R to make sure drivers have the correct paint scheme on their car. Yeah, unfortunately, Tyler, if you're watching right now or not, we did control R. I controlled R before I went live and obviously there through that qualifying run, and it still seems like there's a couple of drivers that are obviously having issues with their paints. I don't know if it's with trading paints itself or if it's on my end potentially. I don't know if it would be on my end. If you guys are having the same problem, obviously maybe it's their paint schemes not rendering incorrectly or something through trading paints, or maybe just clicked on the wrong selection there. But hopefully we can get that fixed. Hopefully that can either fix itself here in this race or by next week, so we can see all these beautiful race cars. I know these guys put a lot of work in. They spend a lot of money, and they get these things really fixed up and ready, you know, to rock and roll, especially for our first race of the season. You want to be looking good and fresh and have all your sponsors out there on display. And unfortunately, one of those drivers at the front of the field is one of the cats that has this issue, as it's the all-white number 21. It's Rob Lowell. Lowell will be starting in the top spot here this afternoon, and Muse in the chat says Chris Muse starting in position number 2. Yes, Chris Muse in position number 2. Now, we're usually used to seeing Muse in the 99 ride, but he's changed it up this year. He's in the Must Love Poodle stable, and he is running the number 3 car here this season. So, great to see Muse out there nonetheless, but obviously, new car, new driver. It's going to be fun to see what Mr. Muse can do out there on the Speedway in that 3 ride. Back in position number 3 on the Speedway, that is the 6th ride of Johnny Barker. Barker will start there in the BG Graphics number 6 in position number 3. 2 is outside. It's another Muscle of Poodles ride. The 48, it is Grant Humphrey who will start there in 4th. Starting back in the 5th position in the 44 ride, that is the 711 machine of Ryan Anderson into his outside in the Schenko Custom Diecast. Williamsburg Contracting 00, it is Colton Manich starting there in 6th. Starting back in 7th in the 70 ride, that is the Lawrence Tech University machine of Mr. Mike Killingbeck. He'll have Devin Black there to his outside. Josh Bromfield and Brandon Puffin Barger will round out our top 10. That's where we see Anthony Garland, Gary Wright, Nicholas Barton, Tyler Humphrey, Chris Wolford, Jonathan Byram, Jameson Heath, Rob Tuwisku, Corey Crowell, Wayne Garland, Dom Salvo, Brian Heeden, Joshua Barton, James Garland, Michael Wolf, Mark Belair, Edward Belair, and Daryl Whitford bringing up the back of the pack here in the 13 ride. It's 28 drivers. See that green flag fly, and we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation as we are quickly green flag racing for the first time here on the year with the Outcast Racing League as we see our opening lap and our opening caution flag of the season. Unfortunately, some issues back here deeper in the pack, and I believe it is going to be the 44 of Ryan Anderson, the 711 Ryan, going to go for a loop-de-loop. Looks like he's got some pretty solid left front damage here on that number 44 Ryan. Let's take a look back and see what happens here. I don't know if he gets loose, if he has a little help here, or what may have happened here, but he started up inside the top 5. Another look at this one because this happened rather quickly, man. Just down and through corner number 2, and it looks like, yeah, just kind of loses the rear end right here, starts to go around. You see Tyler Humphrey trying to get unfortunately didn't really see it right away. The 5 of Puffenbarger there, he's starting to get checked up to avoid running through that 44 ride. The 9 ride, I don't know if he was expecting it, didn't get onto the binders quick enough, ends up getting into the back end of the 5, which then puts Puffenbarger farther into the 44 ride, which keeps him sideways on the racetrack, and then everyone else is just trying to spread out and trying to avoid him here, and unfortunately comes down the racetrack and collects the 2 of Corey Crowell. Crowell gets clipped right there, does get a little piece of that outside fence, and that's where we see that damage on the left front there of that 44 ride. Didn't make contact with the wall, but ends up clipping this 2 machine of Corey Crowell. So for Crowell and Ryan Anderson, both drivers are going to have to try to get some repairs, try to work themselves back into the show here this afternoon, and hope that they can, try to get themselves back up there and into the battle here towards the front of the field. As Must Love Poodles in the chat says, "Get it, Muse!" Cheering on Muse out there on the racetrack, says number 48, giving the high fives as the Must Love Poodles in the chat. The Must Love Poodles car out in front. It is Chris Muse. Muse had the race lead as the caution flag was thrown, so he is our early race leader, and he'll lead the first couple laps here of the day. So Chris Muse out in front in Must Love Poodles, leading the first few laps of our first race of this season, man. Great to be back. Great to be back in here. I don't even know, what season are we on? Are we on season 11 now with the Outcast Racing League? Absolutely insane that we're already on season 11. I do believe that's where we're at. Season 11. That is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. That is crazy. As we will see these drivers continue to duke it out here throughout our first stage of the day, as Anne-Marie in the chat as well with the hearts and says, "Go James!" Cheered on James Garland out there on the Speedway. And she's always in here cheering on James. James looking to have a good run, a solid drive here this afternoon as we'll get ready to stack all these drivers back up and get ready to go back to green flag racing here in just a few more moments. But there is 125 laps on the docket. We will see a stage break at the completion of lap number 35 and at the completion of lap number 70. So virtually 35 lap runs for these drivers. Now, the caution laps from the first stage to the second stage may shorten that second stage, in theory, a little bit out there on the speedway for a lot of these drivers. Obviously, this early caution flag may help them out a little bit, because this may get them, a little bit more comfortable, not only on fuel, but maybe on the tires as well. And I think that is going to be a key to success this afternoon, is try to keep the tires under you. And obviously, late in this race, it could be down to just having that extra little bit of fuel, that extra couple laps of saving could make the world of difference between making it to the checkered flag or coming up a little bit shy. So I think in that final run, that final stage, we should see these guys at least making 1 to maybe 2 green flag pit stops out there on the racetrack, and that could really mix things up, man. Pit side, it is always the make or break portion of these races, especially with the green flag pit stops, because you come in a little too quick or you leave a little too fast, you get a pit road speeding penalty. Unfortunately, that can put you behind the 8 ball in a quick hurry out there on the racetrack. And for Chris Muse and all these other drivers, they're going to hope to not have that issue. They're going to hope to see this thing stay clean and green for a little bit, maybe see a timely caution flag where they don't have to make those green flag pit stops. But the lights are off the official iRacing pace car, which is quite odd because the lights are off, but these guys are still stacked up single file here. Single file restarts on the season? Is that what's going on here? Are we doing that? Are we doing single file restarts? What's going on here, chat? Let's take a look and see. Maybe they're planning on extending it. Maybe we don't know that yet, but definitely don't see the lights on that iRacing pace car here, and everyone's still single file. So, all right, that's going to make things very, very fun. Very interesting here as the pace car getting ready, I do believe, to make that hard left-hand turn back down pit side, and everyone's going to have to get tight here. Here we go. So he does make his way back down pit road. That will hand the race lead, the control back over to the 3 car of Chris Muse. And for Muse, Down and through that Geico restart zone, able to get a great launch, a great jump in for that 3 machine, hoping that he can try and pull away out there on the Speedway, hoping to try to open up a bit of a lead here as Chris Muse says, go, 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 baby, cheering on the old man out there on the racetrack. And as of right now, for Mr. Muse, he has control of this race as Rob Lowell back there behind him, trying to hunt him down. Johnny Barker right there as well in that number 6 ride as the Wolfpack Racing Machine rolls there in that 3rd position. Grant Humphrey, Colton Manich back there in 4th and 5th as the other must-love Poodles car in that action. Now, we did see the 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey got a piece of that first caution flag of the day. Luckily enough, doesn't look like too much damage to the front end of that Landesco number 9 ride. And for the Landesco 400 here, obviously for Tyler Humphrey, not only being our first race of the season, but being a race-sponsored car out there on the racetrack, he wants to go out there and perform. He wants to put together, just a heck of a show and a heck of a performance here, and trying to, put this Landesco ride up and into, either victory lane or potentially, just a good solid top 3 performance. I know he'd love to be able to jump up into the booth, so we'll have to wait and see if he can find some extra ground. He's already moved up 5 positions from the drop of the green flag, and here he is in that 8th spot on the Speedway looking for more out there on the racetrack, and he may find more. Unfortunately, it may be his twin brother, Grant Humphrey, who's kind of on the backslide now. Grant Humphrey slides back a couple spots, lost 4th there to Colton Manich, and now we do see both Mike Killingback and Devin Black able to work their way around him, and now here comes Tyler Humphrey, Jameson Heath right there with him in that Chipotle 71 ride. Gary Wright's back there in that 10th position, and here comes Dom Salvo right there, ready to make some moves, ready to try to bring his Williamsburg Contracting Shenko Custom Diecast 28 ride right into the picture as well. See, there's a lot of our older drivers here in the field, a lot of the guys that we've seen year after year after year out there on the Speedway, and for some of them, they're in different cars, different numbers, so it's going to be always interesting to try to figure out who is who out there sometimes on the racetrack with some of the different numbers. Now, there's a lot that are still the same here. I believe for Salvo, he was running a different number last year. Maybe it was in the 28 at the end of the year. It's hard to remember now at this point. It's been a little while since we saw the Outcast Racing League in action. They took a nice little break there throughout the winter time and obviously throughout Christmas and the holidays, and then, got things rocking and rolling back into the new year and bringing in some of these new drivers and, and fast cats here for this series. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be great to see what everyone can do with all the battles out there on the racetrack. And obviously now we get to see one of the newcomers jumping back out in front as Chris Muse looks like he's going to start to fall back here as Rob Lowell is going to jump up and take control of this race once again. Muse falls back to 2nd. He'll look to keep Johnny Barker back there behind him. Barker rolls there in that 3rd position. Colton Manich in position number 4, reeling them all in, trying to join this battle here at the front of the field. Mike Killingback's up into 5th as Grant Humphrey now just trying to hold on to that 6th position, as it looks like now the 7 ride of Devin Black running into some problems. He's starting to slide back in. The Humphrey twins working that inside groove here. They're hoping to try to work their way around this 7 ride and hoping to try to join that battle up inside our top 5 here this evening. There's Jameson Heath right there as well. You do see Salvo back in position number 10 with Gary Wright. Anthony Garland there in 12th. And then we do see Chris Wolford there in position number 13. Josh Bromfield and Nicholas Barton, our top 15 out there on the racetrack. Jonathan Byram in that beautiful 54 ride rolls back in 16th. He's got James Garland, Rob Tuiscu. See, Tuiscu's now in the number 8 ride out there on the racetrack. So that one may throw us for a little bit of a loop. With the number 8 for Rob Tuiscu now on the season, that one's going to be tough for us to kind of remember, but we'll make sure we get that locked into the brain and make sure we call him by the right number out there on the racetrack. Puffin Barger right there as well as the 5 ride. Going to roll down on the inside groove here is Tuiscu. Byram right there. You do see that 37 of James Garland in the mix here. Edward Belair poking the MMG Detroit Lions number 25 right into that fight as Edward right now sits just inside our top 20. The 84 ride of Wayne Garland back in 21st, and then we do see Joshua Benton back there. The 69 rolls in 22nd. Brian Heeden, they were in 23rd in that Zen 88 machine. Mark Belair, that is Edward's dad, in that beautiful Mountain 2 number 11 ride back in 24th. Michael Wolf in that beautiful number 10 ride, and then we do see Corey Crowell, Ryan Anderson, and Daryl Whitford rounding out our field as the Yield Max 13 ride currently sits at the back of the pack. But already here throughout this race, 12 laps in, and the racing action is just starting to heat up. The action is just starting to get a little bit crazy here, and for each and every one of these drivers, man, they are just, clicking the laps off in a quick hurry and putting together some wicked lap times, having some great speed, some great runs. You can see the different lines that these drivers are rolling out there on the Speedway, and that's what makes Auto Club Speedway always so much fun, so amazing to watch and to see these guys duke it out in battle here at Auto Club. But we do see the caution flag come back out, so our second yellow flag of the day, and it's going to be Edward Belair. Oh no, Belair's going to run into some issues. Let's take a look back and see what happens to that 25 ride. It was a dogfight back here as we were watching these guys, and it looks like, I'm not sure, is that the 37 ride? It is the 37 of Mr. James Garland. Looks like James may just get in here a little bit too far, maybe trying to follow that 69 ride through, and unfortunately, they're just going to end up making contact here as sends it into the corner, starts to wash up the racetrack, and unfortunately washes up into that left rear quarter panel of the 25 ride. That kicks him sideways and right into the lap there of Wayne Garland. Wayne's got nowhere to go. The 25 finally goes around as all these other drivers trying to check up, trying to avoid potentially running over him and keeping themselves out of any early contact and carnage out there on the racetrack. But for the 25, he will be scored back in the 25th position, and for all these drivers, they'll get another opportunity here. I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to see pretty much everybody come down pit road, and here you go. They are coming, led by the Wolfpack Racing number 6, Johnny Barker, as he's going to lead us down pit side here. Chris Muse back in second. Rob Lowell there in position number 3. Managed killing back our top 5, and everyone else here. I don't see anyone still rolling out there on the racetrack. Everyone's going to come down pit road. Everyone's going to get some fuel, some, different strategy here. There's going to be some drivers that may take tires, other drivers that look like they're not taking tires, so that's going to be really interesting. Some drivers kind of held on there a little bit longer as well as you take a look at Rob Lowell. Lowell had to wait a little bit longer down pit side to really make sure he got this thing topped up with fuel. Ends up losing 6 positions out there on the racetrack. He'll get ready to restart back in 7th. Chris Muse as well goes from 2nd back to 8th. So maybe just trying to get that extra little bit of fuel in, trying to make sure that they are good to go here this afternoon. I don't know. It's going to be fun because obviously fuel can always play an aspect in any of these races, especially with those stages and stage points on the line. Stages potentially there for the taking, and if you are going to run a little bit shy on fuel and you got to make that pit stop before the end of the stage and you forfeit your stage points out there on the racetrack, obviously these drivers with that extra little bit of fuel may be waiting and lurking to want to take care of it and take that extra point or 2 or 3 out there on the racetrack late in these runs. But for Johnny Barker out in front, leading the way here, one of the newcomers. Showing up and showing out this afternoon. As Chris Muse says, nap time. Z's, yeah, it definitely nap time for me. Is it me or is he hard to hear? I got my volume all the way up. That Rob Beaver, I can change that. See if it is any better for you. Normally it's usually pretty decent in the yellow bar. We don't like turning it up too much. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the cars are a little too loud too. Let's turn that down just a little tad. We'll turn that up just a little bit. How does that sound? Hopefully that sounded a little bit better right there for you. As Muscle Up Poodle says, glad to see Tyler in the Landesco car doing it. Yeah, he's doing great, man. They're all doing great. A couple early caution flags, that just adds into the excitement, and obviously, it seemed like that first lap caution flag, I don't know if it was just iRacing or if the admins decided, hey, you know what, let's get this going. Let's get some laps in here. We'll make it single file for that first restart of the afternoon. As now we go back to double file. We're back to door by, side by side here. And that's going to set us up for another big restart here in our first stage of the day. And we're not even close to the end of that one as Hi says, my volume is great. Your volume is great. Okay, we like that. We like that. We want to make sure that the volume is always good. We don't want to make it so it's too loud and it's overpowering. But hopefully it's all right. Hopefully it's not too crazy or anything else after we just turned it up there, but hopefully it'll play out nicely for you. As here we go, back to Green Flag Racing as the number 6 gets a great launch, great drive, and quickly jumps back out in front, clears any cars to his outside, and he is looking to try to break that draft and pull away a little bit and give himself a little bit of breathing room down the back straightaway and out there on the Speedway. As he rolls out in front, it's Colton Manich trying to jump up into that second position as Killing back in a slide back here. Looks like he's going to lose that second spot as Manich will slide down in front of him. Now here comes Grant Humphrey. Jamison Heaps right there ready to pounce in the 71, and there's that Landesco, number 9 rider Tyler Humphrey. Tyler's looking to try to work his way inside the top 5, and looks like down across the line he will take that 5th position away from his twin brother. Grant Humphrey out there on the racetrack is Chris Muse. Rob Lowell, our front row, trying to work their way back up towards the front of the field here. Obviously for Muse, he's up into the 6th now. Can he work that Muscle Up Poodles number 3 ride a little bit closer back to the front, trying to get to the race lead and try to win our first stage of the day, as right now he's got a couple of his teammates right there with him, with Tyler Humphrey and Grant Humphrey, the other couple Muscle Up Poodles rides out there on the racetrack there, right there on his back bumper. And here comes the 81, Anthony Garland. Where did Garland come from? He seems like he's shot out of a cannon. I wonder if potentially Anthony Garland may have been one of those early drivers to, take those tires, put them on during that caution flag, and maybe try to use them to his advantage. Maybe try to steal some, early season stage points here this afternoon. If he can keep slicing and dicing, pushing his way to the front here, he can get some good solid stage points on the day. Or maybe he was saving a little bit there throughout that first bit of the run. Maybe he was saving, and maybe he knew that he was going to be good on fuel and that he was just going to be able to try to work his way up here later in this run. And here he is at a quick hurry. Look at the run he gets to the back bumper of Chris Muse right there. My gosh, if Muse wasn't there, he would have been absolutely gone and probably would have gained another couple spots down that front straightaway. Unfortunately, though, Muse kind of fell back and right into his lap. He had to get checked up, and even trying to push him and bump dragged him there down the racetrack and down the front straightaway. Just kind of ran out of room. He's going to try to do it again down the backstretch into corner number 3. And for Anthony Garland, he's really turned up the wick here, and he's looking really strong out there on the racetrack, trying to gain some more of these positions. As we do see Rob Lowell. Lowell's going to slide up right there. Oh, man, that was a close call right there. There was almost contact between our pole sitter in that 81 and Anthony Garland. Luckily enough, they're able to avoid any contact and keep on battling. As out in front, it's still Johnny Barker. Barker continues to lead the way. The Wolfpack Racing ride. Out in front, Johnny Barker feeling A-okay and right at home here with the Outcast Racing League, as looks like he's got the handle of these race cars, and man, he is looking really strong here this afternoon. But we'll have to wait and see if Colton Manich or any of our other series regulars that are just back here behind him can jump up and maybe give him a little welcoming here into the series and show him how to get it done out there on the racetrack. We'll see if Manich or Killing back, Jamison Heaps back there in 4th. What about Grant Humphrey, Tyler Humphrey, Anthony Garland now up and into 7th. Rob Tuisku's there in 8th. Chris Muse and Devin Black now round out our top 10. So virtually our top 10, other than the race leader, Johnny Barker, are all returning drivers here to the series. Johnny Barker, the first car out there inside the top 10, the only car out there inside the top 10. That is a new face out there on the Speedway for season 11 here with the Outcast Racing League. As we do see Rob Lowell, he's another new driver out here. I believe Chris Wolford is potentially a new driver here as well on the season. Brian Heeden is also a new face out there. Jonathan Byram, I believe this is the first series he's ran here with the Outcast Racing League. Take a little farther back, you see Michael Wolf there in that number 10 ride. He's another new driver. Ryan Anderson, Mark Belair, also a new driver out there as well, as we do see the caution flag come back out, and this time it is the Vanguard Sim Racing number 8. Of Rob Tuisku, who's going to run into some issues here. The Vanguard ride has a problem down the back straightaway. I think it's a pretty solid contact as well. Let's take a look and see here. Is they're kind of 3 wide, but it's just a big run for this 8 machine. Let's play it back a little bit, see if we can get another angle at it, see if we can get a different look and see kind of what happens here. So he's down low, slides up in front of the 7 ride, but you see the 7 of Black has such a big run here that he's trying to work to the outside, and he finally shoots up there to that outside groove. The 8 gets a little bit loose there, probably trying to keep himself on the throttle, and they virtually run out of room already in that outside lane, but you see them both catching up to this 3 ride. And I think for Tuisku, he's trying to move back up to the outside fence, obviously hoping to try to work his way around the 3 without contact there with Chris Muse. Unfortunately, still tight together with the 7 ride, kind of comes up over his nose, ends up into the fence, and then all of a sudden we see the oh, man, that's a heartbreaker there for one of the new drivers out there on the racetrack. That 51 of Chris Wolford gets a big piece of him here. Big hit right there for Wolford. Let's see if we can jump on board with this number 51 ride and see what he can see as, here we go, down, and all of a sudden, the car spun, and he's right on your lap, and you got nowhere to go out there on the racetrack, and unfortunately, some pretty solid damage there to that 51 ride, and that is really going to hurt his chances here this afternoon. He's going to have to come down pit road. He's probably not going to want to use a quick repair up this early. You're going to want to try to get this thing repaired and just kind of get fixed up. Now, luckily enough, this being more of a 2-mile racetrack, you can get, quite a bit of time throughout these yellows to work on your race car, to stay down pit road, get these repairs, and we know Tuisku is going to be right there trying to get that thing fixed up as much as possible, as Rob Lowell also makes his way down pit side. So does Ryan Anderson, Gary Wright, Brandon Puffenbarger, Wayne Garland, Rob Tuisku, Corey Crowell's back down pit side in that 2 ride. Edward Belair also down pit road in his number 25, trying to get repairs. And obviously, fuel and tires could play a big strategy in this. It's been about 10 laps since the last time we saw these drivers down pit side here. So, you get 7, 8 laps of green flag racing on the older tires now. I mean, it could really mix things up here. We did see, looked like Lowell took tires. I'm not sure if any of these other guys that had just come down pit road had also took some fresh tires here, but if they did, it could make a big difference. We could see them just drive right through the field and work themselves up into maybe a stage win here in our first stage of the season. But for Johnny Barker and the rest of these guys right behind him, they're hoping that they can either hang on to a good solid position, earn some good points here in our first stage of the season, and or trying to pick up that stage win. As we know, Manich and Killing Back, Tyler Humphrey, Grant Humphrey, all these guys, they're hungry for it. They want to work their way up there. They want to win here in, obviously, a dominating fashion, and winning that first stage of the day really can't help put a statement on the season and on the first race of the year for not only yourself but your team as well. So we're going to see these guys pushing hard, especially with only, we're going back green flag racing. There's probably only going to be 9 laps until the end of this stage, and another caution flag gets displayed. So you get 9-lap shootout here to see who can pick up that top spot, who can pick up that green and white checkered flag and win our first stage of season 11 this afternoon, as Johnny Barker is going to be looking to try to do everything he can to keep him back there at bay. Let's see if we can jump on board here. Let's jump on board with Chris Muse, see what Muse can do here for this restart, as we know Muse is going to be looking to try to make some big moves. He's going to be trying to slice and dice his way through that field and hoping to try to put himself up and in to a good position here in this one, as Rob Beaver says, let's go, let's go, let's go, baby. That's what's up right there, as here we go. Get back after it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back at it. Johnny Barker, Colton Manich, 1 and 2, killing back in Humphrey. Tyler Humphrey, Grant Humphrey, they are in 4th and 5th. Jameson Heath, Anthony Garland, Chris Muse restarting back in the 8th position. We'll ride on board with him for this restart and take a good look and see what he's going to do behind the wheel. Whoa, look out! I think that was a little bit more than Chris Muse wanted to see out of his front windshield there on that restart, but you heard him get up through the gears that were rolling down through 1 and 2, and he got a front row seat. And I don't even know where we're at, our 3rd caution flag, 4th caution flag now on the evening. As you take a look right here, he gets a great look at it, and there's contact between the 48 of Grant Humphrey and the 71 of Mr. Jameson Heath, and unfortunately it shoots that Chipotle number 71 up the racetrack into the lap there of Anthony Garland. Garland's got nowhere to go. He ends up getting some pretty solid contact into it. Well, let's take another look back at it and see a little bit more of that contact. Is unfortunately for Heath, this is probably going to take him down pit side here for maybe an extended period of time, as here we go. Down through the corner, 848 just kind of gets tight, pushes up the racetrack, and that slight little bit of contact here with that 71. You see him get sideways. It seems like he's trying to save it. He's trying to correct it, and unfortunately, it just kind of snap hooks back up to the racetrack and into the outside fence right here. You see the contact, he's sideways, looks like he's got the wheel cranked to the right to try to save it. Unfortunately, it just snap hooks up the racetrack hard into the outside fence. Nowhere to go for Anthony Garland. He kind of blinked through him right there. You got to hope that maybe he didn't end up with a ton of damage, but that could potentially take him down pit side for a very, very long time. And now, obviously, for the 71, tore up here. He's trying to keep himself, rolling down the racetrack. He wants to get out of the way of the rest of these drivers, but they're all trying to avoid him. And unfortunately for the 11 ride, and the 84 of Wayne Garland as well. Oh, there's a lot of guys back here that end up getting tore up. All these drivers trying to avoid him, trying to keep themselves out of it here. And you see a few drivers that are just going to lock it up and try to keep themselves, far enough away from it that they're not going to get any damage from this. And unfortunately, you see the 24 go down the track. He goes for a slide, but then 13, the 11, they get in there. And I believe for the 13 ride, ends up hard contact into the inside fence here. Take a look at Darrell Whitford. So you're watching the 11, the Mountain Dew machine. He sees the 71 coming down, so he shoots down. Still ends up getting tagged by him right there, but ends up getting into that Yield Max number 13 ride. And unfortunately for the Chevy Camaro, washes down into the fence right there and there. At least it wasn't too hard. Not a ton of damage there for him, but we did see a few other drivers also go around here. I don't know who else was going around. This is the 24 ride. Who is the 24? That's the big question. 24 is Michael Wolf there in that Raptor 24 ride. So Wolf in the 24, he sees it, he gets checked up, he just gets way down the apron. Unfortunately, ends up going around again. You do see the 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger. He also goes around trying to avoid the 24 and the 71, and luckily enough, all these other drivers able to slide through there. But no bigger hit than the one for... obviously, that 71 machine, man, that was a huge, huge lick. That really took Jamison Heath kind of out of this one. He's still down pit side. We'll have to wait and see if they end up getting this car repaired. But as he sits down there, the crew is going to work. They're trying to get it repaired. I'm not sure if he had a quick repair still in his back pocket, or if, potentially he didn't get the opportunity to use it because he couldn't get the car back down pit side, had to tow it down pit road. May not have had that quick repair turn done, and if he did not, then obviously he's going to be down here for a while until iRacing finally gets it fixed up enough that they allow him to leave that pit stall, then he can come back down pit road and use that quick repair. But it may be a long time. A lot of minutes down there that could take him out of this race. As we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. As we can see, obviously, a bunch of drivers back down pit road. Some of them for fuel. Obviously, some of them for damage control, trying to get their cars repaired. We saw Corey Crowell back down there. The number 24, Michael Wolf, was down pit side. Mark Belair, Brandon Puffenbarger, Wayne Garland's down there. You do see Rob Tuwisku. He's rolling back into the action here. Grant Humphrey, unfortunately, he's going to go to the back of the pack. He did come down pit side, got some repairs as well for the Must Love Poodles number 48 machine. Rob Lowell making another trip down pit side. Same with Johnny Barker. Barker was our race leader, and he makes his way down pit road as well, as we're going to get ready to go back to green flag racing here. So for all these drivers, it's going to be a green flag restart, and for a lot of these cats, obviously making those extra pit stops, coming down pit side. It's changed up the front of the field. It's Mike Killingbeck now has that race lead. Killingbeck's out in front, gets a great launch, great restart. The 9 of Tyler Humphrey rolls there in position number 2 now in that Landesco number 9 ride. The 0-0 Colt Manage back in third. Anthony Garland, luckily enough, through some of that contact with that 71, didn't get any damage from it, so a great lucky break there for Anthony Garland, and he's still able to keep on rolling as he sits in that 4th position. Chris Muse right now rounding out our top 5 out there on the Speedway. Dom Salvo there in position number 6 on the Speedway. Devin Black, Joshua Benton, Brian Eden, and Josh Bromfield, our top 10 here on the Speedway. He's got James Garland, Jonathan Byram right there behind him. They would love to work their way up and inside the top 10, earn some stage points here this afternoon. But for Tyler Humphrey in the Landesco 400, wants to get this Landesco number 9 ride up and into the action and into the battle here for the race lead. As here he comes down on the inside groove, but the outside momentum is going to pay dividends here for the 70 ride. As they start to battle there, little door by door, it just draws in this 0-0 of Colton Manich right into the battle. So Manich is there. He is ready to play. He is ready to get into this battle as well for the first stage win on season number 11 here with the Outcast Racing League. And down the back straightaway here, the Landesco number 9 rider Tyler Humphrey is able to clear Mike Killingbeck. Killingbeck will slide back to second, but it's Tyler Humphrey in the Landesco number 9 ride out in front. He will take the race lead, and he is looking to set sail here. Only 2 laps left to go in our first stage of the day, so looking for the first bit of points that you can get here to start this season. And for Tyler Humphrey, he's trying to get it done on a hot note here in this one, as Manish does make his way back up into second here, advancing himself around Mike Killingbeck, and unfortunately for Killingbeck, he slides back into position number 3. Now he does have a bit of a gap back to that 81 of Anthony Garland, and Chris Muse right there as well, as that 3 machine looking to try to work his way back to the front of the field. This Must Love Poodle says, keep pushing, Tyler, keep pushing for that number 9 ride. Humphrey right now, man, he's looking strong. He's looking really good. He's trying to pull away a little bit here from this field and from Colton Manich. Just has about half a second lead down into corner number 1. So for Tyler Humphrey, it's only about half a lap to go here. The completion of lap 35, which is the end of this lap, will be the end of our first stage of the day. And for Tyler Humphrey, that stage win, it comes with some great bonus points, not only for the regular season, but for that championship as well, and to try to advance yourself through the championship rounds, to try to give himself a shot at another championship here in the Outcast Racing League. And for the 9 ride, down and across the line, he will pick up our first stage win here in 2026 with the Outcast Racing League and our first stage win in Season 11 of the Outcast Racing League. So Tyler Humphrey gets it done here in this one. Manish will settle in for second. Mike Gillingback will hold on to third as Chris Muse and Anthony Garland back in fourth and fifth. And then we see Joshua Benton, Dom Salvo, Devin Black, Brian Heeden, and Josh Bromfield going to round out our top 10 here in that first stage of the day. A couple hard chargers in that. Obviously, Tyler Humphrey, our stage winner, was up 12 positions, but when you look back at the 69, that Pennzoil ride of Joshua Benton, he was up 17 positions on the racetrack, so goes from virtually 23rd up and into 6th here in this stage. Great run for him. For Dom Salvo, he's able to work his way from 21st on the racetrack, up 14 positions, and now into 7th. Baby, there's some big movers out there, man. That's some great racing, great action. Obviously, a few caution flags, a few dicey moments for drivers, and a few tore-up race cars there in that first stage. We'll have to wait and see if Stage 2 and Stage 3 clean it up a little bit out there on the racetrack. But nonetheless, a lot of fun here to kick off our first stage of this season. And for all these drivers now, obviously we're going to see probably a lot of these guys come down pit side, but there may be a few that may stay out on the racetrack, or at least may have opportunity to make a really short pit stop right here, because there's drivers that were down pit side back even on lap 24, lap 23, a bunch that were just down pit road during that last caution flag on lap 28. So if they only need to put a couple gallons into their ride, that may only be, a 1 or 2 second pit stop, where our race leaders may be down pit road here for, 10, 13 seconds, getting topped up on fuel and getting back out on the racetrack. So that could be really fun, and we could see some drivers like Wayne Garland, who's going to stay out. Wayne's going to stay out here, does not come down pit road, so he's going to go for the track position over that extra little bit of fuel. Now, he'll have to pit just a little bit before them, but this could really flip things onto its head this afternoon as Jamison Heath, he's going to stay out here as well. Now, Heath is looking for the lucky dog, the free pass to get back on the lead lap, and he will at least get one of those laps back here. Now, I'm not sure if this will put him on the lead lap or one lap down out there on the racetrack, but he'll still be the first car lap down, and if another quick caution flag flies, he could be right back into the action here this evening. As Wayne Garland, though, out in front, he'll get ready for this restart as Tyler Humphrey, our Stage 1 winner, will come out in position number 2 now. Manich, Dom Salvo, and then we do see Chris Muse, our top 5 here for this restart, as we'll get a quick word in from one of our amazing sponsors here. Let's take a look here. Who do we got here for our sponsors? There we go. Alrighty there, shout out to Goss as they came in and were our sponsor there at the end of the season last year. They sponsored our season finale, the Daytona 500, and honestly, I don't know if I've checked, but I believe that is again our season finale here for season 11 as well. Will be another full-length Daytona 500, 200 laps at Daytona International Speedway. Now, obviously, that is a long ways away here. We got a lot of racing, a lot of rounds to go through, and obviously, we're going to go from 16 drivers down to 8 drivers to battle it out and to duke it out here for this season's champion, as obviously a round of 8 there and 8 playoff drivers into that winner-take-all race. Obviously, last year we saw Casey Gross come home with that championship. Casey Gross was able to pick up that season 10 championship, and I don't know if Casey's going to be back here this year or not. I haven't seen him. Obviously, he's not in this race, so I'm not sure if Casey's going to be in on the action or not. That'd be really sad if we didn't get Casey back out there for another year, obviously, to try to back up that championship. We'll have to wait and see if he joins us, if he gets in on some of the fun here, some of the racing, maybe a little later in the season. But unfortunately for Casey, right now he's obviously not out there, so he's not in this first race of the season after winning the last race of the season last year and winning that championship, man. Such a high there and such a great note to end last season, our 10th season here with the Outcast Racing League. But no better place and no better way to kick off a brand new season here at Auto Club Speedway. Is out in front, the number 84 rider Wayne Garland's got the race lead. He's got the top spot, and he's hoping that he can use it to his advantage. The Vanguard Racing team, Sim Racing, number 84 rider Wayne Garland out in front, and obviously he was down pit road back on lap number 27. The rest of these drivers were down pit side on lap 37. For Wayne Garland, he only really ran, I'm going to see probably about 5 laps or so of green flag racing on those tires. So he's definitely worn them down a little bit, not a ton, but it'll be interesting to see, you know, how this is going to work out for him, because he's going to fall back here a lot sooner than the rest of these drivers. He's going to start to see that tire wear really take advantage of him, because the new tires are just going to blow right on by him here at a certain point out there on the racetrack when his really start to fall off. And for the 84 ride of Wayne Garland, obviously a car that was already a little bit struggling early in this race. How far does he fall back, and when does he have to make that pit stop? Because he's going to have to pit quite a bit sooner than these guys as well. I was quite surprised to see him come down pit road, not come down pit road right there, and at least get a splash of gas and go, as we did see that out of a few of these other drivers. Take a look back at Ryan Anderson, who's back up inside our top 10. Anderson, I think he was one of those drivers that was on that strategy. Here he is rolling in that 6th position now on the Speedway as they're 3 wide back behind him. Killingback kind of right in the middle of it with Anthony Garland there to his outside. Here comes Joshua Benton, big run right there. Will shoot down to the inside of that 70 ride and down the back straightaway. He'll make that pass as the 6th machine of Johnny Barker. Barker's kind of right in the middle of the action here as well. That's Corey Crowell down to his inside, the 7 of Devin Black to his outside. And for the 2 machine of Corey Crowell, looking to try to rebound. He got a piece of that first caution flag of the day, got some pretty solid damage on that 2 right now. He's made multiple trips down pit road to get repairs, get this car fixed up, and obviously it's fixed up enough, and he's got some good tires under it, and here he is trying to battle his way right up and into the action here at the front of the field as he is just outside our top 10. Chris Wolford out there as well. Wolford still rolling in this one. Obviously, he got tore up in one of those earlier wrecks. Had some pretty good damage on that 51 ride. Brian Heaton right there as well in that 15 machine. Josh Bromfield, Jonathan Byram in the 54 back in 17th. Nicholas Barton back in 18th with Gary Wright and Mark Belair in 20th here, rounding out our top 20 out there on the racetrack. It's great to see another father-son duo out there, as Mark is the father of the number 25 ride, Edward Belair. Edward's been with us for a couple seasons, and for that 25 ride, he is running pretty smoothly out here on the racetrack, and obviously for his dad to make his first appearance here with the Outcast Racing League, great to see another father-son duo out there on the racetrack, as Genius in Math has returned. Hi there, everyone. I am Genius in Math. Nice to meet you all. Okay, cool. You're good at math. Hey, what's 47 times 24? Without a calculator. How genius are you? How genius are you? Now I want to know. I won't use a calculator. Actually, I probably would use a calculator. I don't know the answer. I'm not a genius at math. I'm good at math, but I'm no genius at math. That is a wild claim right there. It is a wild claim. But how are you, mister? How you doing today? As out in front, we see a battle for the race lead, and it's a Parashenko rides. It's Colton Manich and Dom Salvo. Salvo down on the inside in the 28 ride. The 0-0 Manich in the American flag. 0-0 there to the outside. As they battle here for the top spot, you take take a look at that. Landesco, number 9, and Tyler Humphrey right there with him, battling his way back up to the point. And you do take a look at the 3 of Chris Muse. Wayne Garland, who's on those older tires, has fallen back now into that 5th position, but they're starting to run into some lap traffic. That is the 8 ride. Unfortunately, here, Ron Tuwiscu, you see the damage, the unfortunate contact that Tuwiscu's gotten, and he ends up getting a little bit more right there as well as things get tight between him and Salvo down and out of corner number 4. Unfortunately, he gets up into the outside fence again. More damage there for Rob, and now, unfortunately for him and Jamison Heath, they are the 2 drivers a lap down out there on the racetrack. Brandon Puffenbarger back in the 26th position. He currently finds himself right here in the action, and he is just just hanging on back here. He got a little contact early on. He's ran into some issues, but we'll have to wait and see. Puffenbarger, we've seen him do this before. Kind of hang out towards the back of the pack, maybe take it a little bit easier, maybe trying to save an extra set of tires for late in this race. And here he is up and into that 26th position right now, and just kind of hanging out there at the rear of the field and really not pushing forward at this point. So we'll see what he's got up his sleeve late in this race, but right now we see what's going on here at the front of the field, and it's Colton Manich and Tyler Humphrey duking it out here for the race lead. Manich is trying to hang on to it. Tyler Humphrey's trying to take it back away, as Humphrey took him a little longer to get his way back up here towards the front, but he's finally gotten there, and now he gets a little help from his teammate, the Must-Love Poodles number 3 ride of Chris Muse, back up inside the top 3 here himself. And for Muse, right there, ready to pounce, ready to join that action at the front of the pack here, and trying to see if he can work himself into the picture for the race lead once again this afternoon, man. What a run, what a drive here for a lot of these drivers, and man, this has been fun. Take a look at these guys, man. 2, 3, 4 wide. These guys have had a long off season, so to see them get back out there, to get back into this fun and see these battles that are brewing out there on the racetrack, and the different teams, the different strategies, everything else start to come back to life, man. It is awesome to watch, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see, obviously, for a lot of these drivers that are new here as well, what they're going to be able to learn, what they're going to see, what they're going to be able to figure out, and how they're going to have to maybe adjust their game plans or their strategies, especially when it comes to, whether it's tire saving or fuel saving. There's going to be a point where they're going to be scratching their heads thinking, man, how did these guys get that far? How did they, get this strategy figured out? They may have some teammates in their back pocket that may be able to help them with that, or try to point them in the right direction. As Ryan Anderson, Johnny Barker right there just inside our top 10 right now, but they do have a pair of Garlands right there behind him, and Grant Humphrey trying to work his Must-Love Poodles ride back up towards the front here, as well as Chris Muse says he's on his way. He says he's on his way. Well, we'll have to wait and see, man. I mean, Muse is right there in the mix. We do see Salvo able to work his way back up and around him here. Dom jumps into position number 3 here on the Speedway, and he's going back after his teammate Colton Manich as the Williamsburg Contracting Racing rides up and into 2nd and 3rd on the racetrack again on the Speedway, but they're looking and trying to hunt down the Landesco number 9 of Tyler Humphrey. As 50 laps into this race, we will see another caution flag fly. That is our 6th caution flag of the evening now. So 6 yellow flags, and this is not for a stage break, but kind of right in the middle of our 2nd stage as well. So this is going to be a really decisive idea here for a lot of drivers. They're going to have the call to either come down pit road or keep on rolling. I think we're going to see everyone probably make their way back down pit side and make this middle stage pit stop, knowing that they should be good on fuel to get to the end of the stage here this afternoon. So we'll have to wait and see who makes the call first and who takes us down pit road. But let's take a look back and see what happens. I believe Mark Belair. Oh no, it's one of Mark's first races here with us, and unfortunately, I'm not sure if he's already kind of spun around. Okay, let's take a look right here. So it's another new driver there as well. Actually, our pole sitter out there on the racetrack, the 21 of Rob Lowell. Lowell, I don't know if he just gets tight, pushes up the racetrack, but as he pushes up the track, he ends up getting into that left rear quarter panel. So you take a look here, the all-white car down hugging that white line, and unfortunately, he does not finish this corner where he started. So they're entering corner 2. He's down low, and then the car just pushes. He's trying to stay in the throttle. Unfortunately, as he does, he pushes far enough up the racetrack that he finally gets up into the 11. Then he sees the 11 coming right back down the track into him. And he just locks it up to try to avoid him as I think he saw the 11 coming back up and thought, uh-oh, here we go. I'm going to get into this one again. And unfortunately, in doing so, ended up getting himself really in it. If he could have just gotten checked up and held it straight, he probably would have avoided the 11 ride. But unfortunately, he doesn't. It's hard contact up into that outside fence. So doesn't the 11 ride of Mark Belair as both drivers come to a halt down the back straightaway, and that will put us back under the caution flag for the 6th time here this afternoon. So we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing here, as we did see pretty much everybody come down pit road. Now, it was a really quick pit stop there for Wayne Garland. We did see James Garland stay out, so I'm not sure if he was just trying to lead a lap here. That could be the strategy for the 37 ride, trying to get a bonus point, lead a lap out there on the racetrack. May see him come back down pit side the next time by as Kevin Timmy, my boy. Kev in the chat, what's good, Bubba? Says, let's go. Damn, missed the start. You missed the start, but brother, it's all about the finish anyways, man. It's all about the finish, the action in the middle, and the fun out there on the racetrack. And it's going to be a ton of fun here this afternoon. It's already been fun. It's been a little chaotic. It's been, couple cars tangled up out there, not really major hits. There's been a couple good hits out there for certain, but drivers been able to use their quick repairs. I believe we still have all 28 drivers still rolling on the racetrack, and unfortunately we do see Puffenbarger back down pit side for an extended period of time. Rob Tuisku did have quite a bit of damage here on that number 8 ride. He's trying to get it repaired, so he's staying down pit road for a little while extra here as well. But I do believe for Jameson Heath, he'll get the lucky dog again. He will get back onto the lead lap. So right now we currently only have one driver a lap down out on the racetrack, and that is this 8 rider, Rob Tuisku. Tuisku finds himself, you believe, 2 laps down, potentially 3 laps down now, as our race leaders have kind of rolled on by him here, and unfortunately he will lose another lap. So for Rob Tuisku, he's 3 laps down. He's still down pit side trying to get that 8 ride repaired and back into the action, as we did see Rob Lowell and Jameson Heath both make their way back down pit side here on the Speedway. So we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. It's James Garland who's out in front. James has control of this race. Now, he was last down pit side on lap number 37. Everyone else had just come down pit road, so he may be a bit of a sitting duck here. If they took tires, I mean, he may be in a bad position. If they didn't take tires back behind him, maybe he'll be able to hang on for a little while here, but man, he may just be a sitting duck out there. We'll have to wait and see what James can do in that beautiful Vanguard Sim Racing number 37 machine, as he's going to have Dom Solovo there to his inside. Mike Killingbeck back in third with Colt Manich in fourth. The 69 of Joshua Benton in position number 5 with the 7 of Devin Black. The 6 ride of Johnny Barker. The 81 of Anthony Garland. And then we do see the 88 of Brian Heeden and Corey Crowell rounding out our top 10 out there on the Speedway. Tyler Humphreys all the way back here in 11th, and Chris Muse in position number 12, as they'll look to try to gain back a lot of track position, trying to race their way up towards the front of the field before the end of this stage. But here we go. Great restart, great launch there for that 37, but unfortunately, down out of corner number 2, the 28 rider Salvo is able to put his throttle down, able to take a big run and work his way around that 37 right. Now you're going to see Colt Manich looking to try to do the exact same thing here. It's Manich down low, going to look to slide up in front of him. Looks like he is clear. Looks like a little bit of a side draft there out of the 70 ride, as well as he's going to continue to fall farther and farther back. He may just want to see a caution flag here in a quick hurry to not only save him from having to make a green flag pit stop, but also, I don't know if he's going to be able to I don't think he can make it to the end of this thing, man, and he's going to fall out of any, bonus point positions or anything else. So Not sure what the game plan is here for that 37 ride, but for James Garland, he's trying to hang on to that third position, hoping that maybe a little bit of this extra clean air, battling up here with the faster cats out there on the racetrack and the guys out in front. Maybe it can open up some doors for him to kind of just figure something out here, or figure out this racetrack and kind of follow them out there on the speedways. He saw contact right there behind him. Oh my gosh, that was a real close call here, as we almost saw our 7th yellow flag of the day, as I believe it was the 70 ride of Killingbeck and that 69 of Joshua Benton. Down and out of core number 4. It's like the 70 kind of moves up. Benton's there to his outside. They make contact in for the 70 ride hard up into that outside fence. Hopefully not too much damage there for Killingbeck, or else that may cost him even more spots here as this run continues on here this evening. As now you see Tyler Humphrey down to his inside. Looks like Tyler is going to take that 7th position away from him. So Killingbeck falls all the way back into that 8th position. But the Landesco number 9 ride, Tyler Humphrey, trying to work his way up through the traffic, trying to work his way to the point here this afternoon. And as of right now, he's trying to battle his way back through it all, and he's able to jump into that 7th position on the racetrack. He's all over Johnny Parker's back bumper, but unfortunately for a lot of these drivers, they're slowly but surely starting to run out of time here as they're clicking the laps off here in stage number 2 in a quick hurry here this evening. The laps are getting clicked down for each and every one of these drivers. They know that it's time to go out there on the speedway, as at the completion of lap number 70 will be the end of stage number 2, where there's going to be more bonus points and another playoff point on the line for not only our stage winner, but for the rest of these drivers. So they're able to jump up there and put yourself in that position has got to be a must if you are one of these cats here at the front of the field. And if you're Tyler Humphrey, you're looking for another one, another big stage win, another bunch of points into your back pocket. It can take a bad day and turn it into a good day, no matter what the outcome is. If you can steal both stage wins out there on the racetrack, is you earn yourself a good amount of points and bonus points towards the playoffs, where even if you do get tied up in something late in the race, to get taken out or anything else, that you can hopefully try to get yourself right back into the fun here. And obviously with the points, you know, you could be still, sitting top 10 out there on the speedway, or, maybe even top 5 still with those bonus points in your back pocket in the point standings after tonight's race. But if you can still get a good finish and good stage points, man, you can really try to take advantage here in our first race of the season to set yourself above and beyond kind of that cut line out there for these playoffs, as playoffs will get underway here fairly soon. A lot of our series, we see a lot of regular season racing. We see normally somewhere around that, 16, 17 to even 18 races before the playoffs get underway for a lot of our other leagues. They got a lot of weeks, a lot of racing, but for the Outcast Racing League, I do believe it is only 10 weeks of the regular season. So even though we're talking about it here in our first night, our first race of the season, you look at Phoenix and then Las Vegas, Darlington, Martinsville, Watkins Glen, Kansas, Talladega, Texas Motor Speedway, and Dover Motor Speedway here for our 10 races in the regular season. And you throw in a couple wildcard races, really, when you look at Martinsville. Martinsville is a very heads-up one. It can go either way. It can be caution-filled. You can end up turned around late in that race and end up with not a lot of points in your back pocket when you head to a racetrack like Watkins Glen. If you're not really a road course driver, that could be a track that you really struggle at, and you could run into a lot of problems. And then Talladega Super Speedway, you just never quite know when the big one is about to go, and if you get tied up, tore up out there on the speedway, your night can be done in a quick hurry there at Talladega. So for that middle portion, that is a lot of wild card races, and it doesn't leave you a lot of opportunities for just regular mile-and-a-half racetracks or 1 mile racetracks or anything else to really try to take advantage of and try to gain as many points as you can to lock yourself into the top 16 and be a part of our playoffs here this this year. But it'll be tight racing, tight action here each and every single week. And I know for these drivers, they're super happy to be back, and they're super happy to put on another great show and another great season for us here on Peacemaker Gaming. If you guys are just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, man. Hit the like button on the stream, hit that share button, and make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Become part of the Peacemaker family here in this one. As Mr. Timmy says, let's go. Number 3, Muse. He says, Muse, baby. We know Bubba's always cheering on Muse out there on the racetrack. And obviously, I mean, new number. Bubba, you might be able to help us out with that one, man. What's up with the number change here for Chris Muse? I mean, we've seen Muse for, the last 5, 6, 7 seasons in the 99 ride, but here in season 11, he's decided to change it up and go to the number 3. What is the game plan with that one? What is the thought process there for Mr. Muse in that number change? Maybe new number, new lockout there on the racetrack? I'll have to wait and see how that plays out for him. But we do see laying out for Tyler Humphrey. He's leading another charge here and looking to see if he can try and steal stage win number 1 and 2 today. Trying to hopefully lock in a stage win and sweep these stages here this evening. But a newcomer to the series, Johnny Barker's racing his way back up here to the front as the Wolfpack Racing number 6 machine now finds himself right back in the second, and he's looking to try to chase down that Landesco number 9 ride of Mr. Humphrey here this evening. Dom Salvo right there in that 3rd spot on the Speedway with Joshua Benton back in 4th. Chris Muse rounding out our top 5, but there is a dogfight back here behind him as Grant Humphrey rolls there in 6th. Here comes Colton Manage now to his outside, killing back Devin Black, Chris Wolford, all right there ready to pounce. Jonathan Byram just on the outside of the top 10 looking in here as he does have Corey Crowell down to his inside. Looks like Crowell may be able to jump up and steal that 11th spot away from him. The outside momentum will pay dividends there for that number 54, and he will keep himself in position number 11 here on the Speedway. Josh Bromfield, Edward Belair, Anthony Garland are top 15 out there on the Speedway. With Nicholas Barton back in 16th, he's got another newcomer right there behind him. That is Ryan Anderson there in 17th. Puffenbarger, Gary Wright. New driver as well there with Mark Belair back in 20th. Michael Wolf there with him as well in that 24 ride, scored back in 21st. Jameson Heath in our pole sitter and one of our other new drivers here on the series. The 21 rider Rob Lowell back in position number 23 here on the racetrack. Daryl Whitford, Wayne Garland, James Garland, our top 26, as unfortunately here for Rob Tuisku still finds himself about 3 laps down out there on the racetrack. And we do see Brian Heaton. Heaton was another driver that was, new to the series here. This was his first race, and looks like he may have lost connection here to the server. Looks like for the 88 ride, he made it 58.61 laps here this afternoon before that car decided to disappear, and unfortunately, he is not loaded back in, and as of now, he's about to potentially go 10 laps down out there on the racetrack, and I don't know if you're going to see that many caution flags here throughout the rest of this race, as we're virtually just halfway through this one. So we're halfway in, halfway to go out there on the Speedway. And for the Landesco number 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey in the Landesco 400, he's looking to try to sweep the stages here this evening. Only 2 laps left to go here in stage number 2 out there on the racetrack. As Bubba says it was his original choice, but Al was using it, typing and driving. Get up front, baby. Yes, sir. You know it. Well, hey, you know what? That is cool. That is good to know. And yeah, that's true, man. No Al Reed. My gosh, no Al Reed, no Cameron Combs. Who else are we missing, man? There's a few cats that are normally right there in the mix, that are in the hunt week after week after week, that aren't out there on the racetrack. I mean, Casey Gross, another one. Oh, man. Oh, hopefully we can get those guys back in here. Hopefully they can join in on the fun and have another amazing season with us here, as we always love seeing those guys out there on the racetrack week in, week out. It's Tyler Humphrey, though. He continues to lead the way here. He's looking for this second stage win of the day for the 9 ride. Johnny Barker, great run, great performance here for the Wolfpack Racing number 6 machine as he rolls there in second. Chris Muse back in third with Joshua Benton and Dom Salvo rounding out our top 5 here. Grant Humphrey would love to jump up inside the top 5, but looks like he may run at a time. Is down and across the line and completing stage number 2. It is the Landesco number 9 ride of Tyler Humphrey. Humphrey picks up stage win number 1 and stage win number 2 here this afternoon. And for the Landesco House Car here in the Landesco 400, our season opener here at the Outcast Racing League, the 9 of Tyler Humphrey will get the broom out, and he sweeps our stages here this afternoon. Johnny Barker, great run here for the newcomer in the Wolfpack Racing ride, comes home in second there in our second stage. Chris Muse, the Must Love Poodle Chevrolet, comes home in that third spot on the Speedway. Joshua Benton back there in fourth, and then we do see Dom Salvo rounding out the top 5 there in the stage. Grant Humphrey, Chris Wolford rounding out our top 7 with Mike Killingbeck, Devin Black, and Corey Crowell, the top 10, all earning some stage points here this evening. Unfortunately for Bromfield, Byram, Manich, Barton, and the rest of the field, no stage points outside the top 10 here in this one. And for Tyler Humphrey, able to sweep those stages, man. He's got to be feeling A-okay. He's going to be feeling real good here this evening, and he's going to be hoping that, he can keep that good luck up, the good runs, and maybe see if he can try to put himself right into victory lane here in virtually what's going to be, I don't even know, what, another 53 laps, 54 laps of racing action out there on the Speedway. We're running down these laps in a quick hurry, and we're drawing in closer and closer to that checkered flag. And for each one of these drivers, man, they're just going to be excited to get the green flag back in the air. But first, pit stops are on the horizon now. This one shouldn't be as hard. I think we're going to see everyone again come down pit side. We didn't really see any of those late stage yellows that really mix things up, that really change the the outcome or strategy for a lot of these drivers. So we should see everyone down pit side making that pit stop now for James Garland. I do believe here for that Vanguard Sim Racing number 37 ride. He should get the lucky dog here. He's in the lucky dog position as the first driver 1 lap down. So he'll stay out on the racetrack. He'll keep on rolling, and he'll get the wave here back on the lead lap, back into the action here this evening. Unfortunately for Rob Tuwisku, he's going to have to stay out here. He's going to have to hope to get a wave around here himself and trying to at least get another lap back out there on the racetrack. Now for Tuwisku, seeing James Garland go a lap down late in that stage definitely hurts his chances as there he goes. He's going to take a wave, and he's going to look to try to get back into the battle here in this one. But for right now, Tyler Humphrey, man, has looked unbeatable. He's looked really strong here this evening. Now, he's played kind of the start of these stages off a little bit differently, tends to take it a little bit slower, backs it down, doesn't really push the subject too much out there on the racetrack, knowing that, he wants to take care of the tires, wants to make sure he has them there for later in the run and to use them when he needs them. And both times he's really found that groove and really has found his way up to the front at the end of both of those stages, and winning both stages here today in the Landesco ride. He's looked pretty jacked up here about this one, and we'll get ready to see what he can do in this one. As there we go, the brooms are out for the Must Love Poodles ride as the 3 takes third, says Muse Jr. as the 3 takes third. Yeah, great run there for Chris Muse. Obviously, we saw the 48 ride of Grant Humphrey back in 6 as well. So 3 of the Must Love Poodles teammates there inside the top 6, and now they're all stacked up here, 1, 2, and 3. After good pit stops there by all 3 of them, they were able to head down pit road, make a good stop, get back out in front of some of these guys. So now for Tyler Humphrey, Chris Muse, and Grant Humphrey, What's the game plan here? What's the strategy for this restart? I don't think they're going to want to stay door to door for too long out there on the racetrack. They're going to really want to see this one kind of, get a little single file as quickly as possible. So we may see a little bit of a different strategy where maybe the 3 rider Chris Muse down the inside gets off to a little bit slower, just a little bit later of a jump, and allowing Tyler Humphrey to get a big enough jump that he can jump down in front of that 3 ride, trying to see if they can draft a little bit down the front straightaway into corner number 1 and then down out of corner number 2, hoping that they can get a little freight train, get back to the outside lane, and kind of have control of this race as we get ready to rock and roll, get ready to go back into battle. Here in this one, for Tyler Humphrey, he's out in front, and he's looking very solid in the Landesco ride, and he'll choose the outside groove. So he takes, rather than having his brother on his back bumper, he will have the 7 rider Devin Black pushing him here on this restart. Beautiful looking paint scheme here for that 7 ride. We see the purple ribbons there on board with them here, man, in loving memory as well. Let's take a look at the back bumper here. We always love the in memoriam race cars, and let's take a look right there. In loving memory of Bessie Lee Black. Oh, man, heartbreaker. February 15th, 2026. Our hearts go out there to Devin Black and the whole Black family as, that is a heartbreaker, man. Bessie Lee Black. I mean, 1945 to 2026. That 80 years old. I mean, that's a great life, but still not long enough, chat. We still want to see a longer life than that, man. With today's technology, everything else, man, and our budget, there's no way that we don't live until we're at least like 240, 220, something like that, I just heard the other day in the news that they put a pig's heart into a man. Now, he didn't live, but it's just exciting that they can do stuff like that. It's Chris Muse, though. Jumps out in front. Muse says, you know what? I'll jump right up here. I'll take control of this race. Grant Humphrey's going to go with him. As we see once again, Tyler Humphrey just kind of playing the same aspect that we saw out of the first 2 stages, where he kind of just backs it up here. Obviously trying to save some tire. Doesn't want to push as hard here. Doesn't want to battle too much out there on the racetrack. And for the Landesco ride, you should probably expect to see him maybe lose a few more spots out there on the racetrack. Fall a little farther back here. And obviously then make that late race charge back up towards the front of the field. But now here in this final stage, it's quite a bit longer. We've been running those 35 lap stages. Obviously we've had some caution flags in them to really break those stages up. Here in this stage, if it stays clean and green, we should see these drivers having to make at least 1 green flag pit stop, but there could also be the potential of 2 green flag pit stops out there on the speedway for each and every one of these drivers, and that could be the make or break between picking up the checkered flag or, unfortunately, getting a black flag and being parked down pit side for an extended period of time here this afternoon. So for Grant Humphrey, though, he's out in front. He says, all right, brother, you don't want to lead the way. I'll lead the way. He takes the Muscle Up Poodles number 48 ride right to the point as he's got Isabel's Impact running on board with him here this season, as well as Chris Muse back there in his Muscle Up Poodles. Isabel's Impact number 3 machine there in that second position. Dom Salvo jumps right up into position number 3. We've seen him be fairly aggressive here on these restarts, and here he is trying to work his way back up to the front of the field. He wants to lead the way. He wants to lead the charge and does not want to play follow the leader out there on the racetrack. As Tyler Humphrey back into 4th here. He's got that Wolfpack Racing number 6 of Johnny Barker right there on his back bumper, and then you do see Devin Black. Jonathan Byram's up into 7th. You do see Joshua Benton back there in 8th with Ryan Anderson and Mike Killingback rounding at the top 10 here on the Speedway. Chris Wolford, Colton Manich there in 11th and 12th as Rob Lowell trying to work in his way back up here, as Lowell, unfortunately, he's been back deeper in the field. He's ran into a couple issues, and for the all-white 21 ride, he's had those slew of problems, and unfortunately, just not the run that he's hoped for today after qualifying in that pole position. I'm sure he wanted to stay up at the front and battle for the race lead a whole lot longer than he has here this afternoon. Now, we'll have to wait and see if late in this race, if he can make that charge and work his way back up there. As Joshua Benton right there behind him, and Jamison Heath back on the lead lap here. We saw him hard up into the corner 2 fence not too long ago, bringing out, I do believe, our 3rd or 4th caution flag of the day. And for the Chipotle number 71 ride, back on the lead lap, he's got that car repaired, and here he is in that 15th position on the racetrack. Michael Wolf there in position number 16 with Gary Wright, Wayne Garland, Nicholas Barton there in 19th, and it's Mark Belair rounding out our top 20 as he's going to take a 3 wide here, trying to work underneath the Wayne Garland and Nicholas Barton. That'll bring that 2 right of Corey Crowell right into the battle here just inside our top 20. And you do see Brandon Puffenbarger back there in position number 22, Darrell Whitford in 23rd. Anthony Garland unfortunately has fallen back now into the 25th position. Yes, James Garland back there behind him as well in 26. Rob Tuwiscu and the number 88 rider Brian Heeden unfortunately still out of this race, and for Rob Tuwiscu still a couple laps down and not quite back into the action here this afternoon. But for the number 9 rider Tyler Humphrey, man, he's looked really, really good, but now it is that 48 rider Grant Humphrey who's out in front. But man, it is starting to get a little dicey here at the front of the field. As out in front, Grant Humphrey sees Dom Salvo working that inside groove, fuel slide up in between his teammates, and unfortunately that will split up the Muscle of Poodles rides out there on the Speedway as Dom Salvo now sits in second. Grant Humphrey though holds on to the race lead, but will Salvo be able to take it away from him? Do we see Chris Muse able to potentially try and draft or give a shove or give a push here the right way to help the number 48 ride out, or will he just kind of get locked in here in a little bit of a freight train with the number 28 ready to pounce, ready to try to take that top spot away from your teammate out there on the racetrack? And here he goes down to the inside, shooting big and hoping to pull up a big run and a big drive here at a corner number 4, and it looks like he's going to clear Grant Humphrey. Throws a bit of a block on him down the front straightaway. They'll battle back to the line. Too close to call right there to see who led lap number 82, but for Grant Humphrey and Dom Salvo, they are duking it out here at the front of the field, putting together a great show for all of us to enjoy this afternoon. And if you guys are just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that share button, and hit that follow and subscribe button. As Muscle Poodle says, Heptic Crew running strong tonight. Heptic Crew, is that the team name now? The Heptic Crew? I gotta take a look at some of the team names. Obviously, we know Poor Boy Motorsports is still out there. Okay, we have the Middle Finger Motorsports as well with Manich and Crowell, Dom Salvo, and Brandon Puffenbarger. Okay, there we go. They have the Panic Performance Racing Team. Okay, so that is Muse, Grant Humphrey, and Tyler Humphrey for the Hispanic boys out there on the Speedway. Then we see the Lugnuts Racing with Gary Wright and Darrell Whitford. Vanguard Sim Racing with James Garland, Mike Killingback, Rob Tuwiscu, and Wayne Garland out there on the Speedway. Wolfpack is Rob Lowell and Johnny Barker. Both have looked really, really strong here today, and both have shown some pretty good speed in their race cars. Team Mecca with Mark Belair, Edward Belair, Jonathan Byram, and Devin Black for Team Mecca out there on the Speedway. Smoky Ridge Racing is Michael Wolf, Chris Wolford, and Brian Heeden. And Rebel Racing all by himself is Ryan Anderson. Is Anderson the only Rebel Racing ride out there on the racetrack, at least here today? And then obviously, for a lot of these drivers, there is still a couple, as I believe Jameson Heath is not in any team, so maybe Heath can join in on the fun there, join the Rebel Racing crew as well, and join that fun there. Maybe make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more awesome, having a teammate out there on the racetrack for Mr. Anderson and for, obviously, for Mr. Heath as well here this evening. But for a lot of these drivers, there's still, I believe, a few more cats that are signed up that are not here tonight, and unfortunately have not had a chance to display their rides and show their skills here to start this season. But we'll hopefully get them out there for the next race. As here we go, out in front, it is again this 6th ride, the Wolfpack Racing Machine of Johnny Barker. Back out in front has this top spot as Man, he's been looking strong. He's been looking solid out here. He's had some pretty good runs. He's led some laps, and he looks to continue to duke it out here from the field as we click off lap number 86 off the board. So 86 laps completed. That is 39 laps of racing action left to go here this afternoon. So 39 more laps to duke it out here this evening for all these drivers. We're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up. Our first Crank It Up here on the season, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers. Alrighty, the curse will continue here this afternoon. The Crank It Up caution flag curse will continue here again into season number 11. As quickly as we went to our Crank It Up, the caution flag is displayed. And I do believe it is the 7 rider, Devin Black, who's going to run into some issues here. Now, I do believe for Devin, I don't know if he has fallen back here quite a bit or if he is... I don't know. It looks like he's fallen back quite a way out here on the racetrack and unfortunately struggling here. And as he continues to fall farther and farther back, the 81, right, Anthony Garland catches up to him in a quick hurry. You see the 7 kind of get up into the outside fence, which ends up losing a lot of momentum there for him. And Garland just all of a sudden runs out of anywhere to go and finally gets a piece of him here. Obviously, 81 also coming to the racetrack and to crowd him up there, but see the 7 off the wall, down the track into the lap of the 81. They're leaning on each other, and then finally the 7 snaps back up into the outside fence. Makes pretty solid contact there with that wall, and then you see the 13 right here as well of Darrell Whitford. He's trying to avoid that spun sideways 7 ride, and he's going to unfortunately lose that car, and he ends up into the wall there himself. But for Devin Black, sideways there, down and out of core number 2 as he had fallen back deep in the field here, and desperately really needed that caution flag, just did not want to be a part of that caution flag. But the yellow does get displayed, and that will give these drivers all an opportunity to head down pit road, make some pit stops, try to work on their race cars, get fuel, get tires, and get ready for what could be the final run of this race. Now, I do believe as we get ready to go back green flag racing, which will be probably a couple laps from now. Let me see here. I don't know. How many laps would that be, chat? That's going to be 9, but we're probably going to be 2 laps, so it'll be about 7, so it's going to be about 32 laps of a run here to the checkered flag. I'm not sure if they'll be good on fuel. I don't know if they'll be able to make it from this point to the checkered flag, or if they are still, at risk of having to make potentially late race green flag pit stops out there on the racetrack. And if that is a possibility, that's going to have to keep these drivers on their tippy toes, as we did see one driver stay out and not come down pit road. The 71 ride, Jamison Heath, looks like Heath stays out, does not pit here. Wonder if maybe this is just a strategy, trying to lead a lap out there on the racetrack, trying to give himself a lap led, and maybe an extra bonus point into his back pocket here. We've seen him have some pretty rough luck here on the day. We saw him race his way up inside the top 5, was looking really, really strong out there on the Speedway, then ran into some issues down in third corner 1 and 2, probably our 3rd or 4th caution flag of the day, and a ton of damage. Had to be parked down pit side for a couple laps, went 2 laps down, and has battled his way back on a lead lap and has been racing strong here, but now all of a sudden he just disappeared off the racing surface. Oh, wait, I think he's back again. Oh, there he is. Okay, so he's blinking a bit. That could make things really tough here on this restart, but we do see everyone get stacked back up here, and it looks like it's going to be Rob Lowell who's going to be in position number 2 here for this restart. Joshua Benton back in 3rd. Then we see Johnny Barker there in position number 4 on the Speedway. And then we do see the 48 of Grant Humphrey, Dom Salvo, the 70 ride there, killing back. And then we see Chris Muse, Tyler Humphrey, Colton Manage, our top 10, with Bromfield Barton, Corey Crowell, Byram, Ryan Anderson, our top 15, all ready to go back to green flag racing here this evening. And again, this is going to be another restart where we're going to see pretty much everybody on one strategy, and there's that one driver that's off the strategy on a different kind of cycle and a different, tire game plan, fuel game plan, and it can really throw a loop in here for a lot of these drivers. And it looks like they're trying to get this lineup kind of figured out here. I think the 69 ride's supposed to be down on the inside. I think they have gotten it figured out. Lowell will fall back into position number 3 there, as the 69 ride of Joshua Benton is our 2nd place driver. So he'll get in and underneath the Chipotle number 71 and get ready for this restart. And it looks like hanging back there just a little bit, maybe trying to get a little bit better of a look here at when the 71 fires, trying to see if he can get a bit of a better launch and hope that he can use it to his advantage here. As here we go, back to green flag racing for what could be our final restart, but the way they're bouncing around back there, I don't think it's going to be, and it definitely will not. It's a parking lot here at the start-finish line. So we will not go back to our Peacemaker Gaming crank it up, as, man, a couple big hits here. And quite a few tore up race cars as things just stacked up. I don't know if it was Manage, the first car. Take a look here. Colton Manage up there. It just seems like things are tight on the inside lane. And they kind of get a little stacked up, and maybe a little tire spin right here. Maybe just a little helping hand from the 12 ride of Bromfield all over the back bumper there of Colton Manage. It looks like the 12 ride is trying to go. 0-0 is as well, but he sees him kind of stacking up in front of him, so he gets checked up. The 12 ride does not see it. He gets into the back end of the 0-0, and then I think that just starts stacking everything up here again. And finally, for Colton Manage, loses it, slides back up the racetrack, and virtually right back into the lap of a lot of these drivers. See Corey Crowell, Bromfield, all get some pretty good damage right there. Looks like the 84 of Wayne Garland's going to get tied up in it. There's more contact for Corey Crowell as he gets clips the 12 ride there, and man, a lot of these guys just trying to get checked up here. You take a look at the 13 ride, going to smash the back end there of the 81 of the Poor Boy Motorsports rider Anthony Garland. But man, there's a lot of just carnage all of a sudden here, trying to get this race back underway, and unfortunately becomes a bit of a parking lot down just at the start-finish line. Our flag man getting a great look at it and a great quick reaction, getting that caution flag out, trying to make sure that no one else got into it, or that some of these drivers may have had enough time to kind of get their cars fixed up here. So let's take another look here at this action. Let's see if we can get another look right. Let's go with the blimp. All right, let's take a look here at that 0-0 Colton Manage, and right there you see that stack up. He checks up, and then Contact between him and the 12, and then everyone else just going to continue to pile into this more and more and more. Anthony Garland gets damage into it. Bromfield's around. 84 right, Wayne Garland's around, and man, it's a tough restart, man. Tough restart. Tough to see that, as a lot of fast cats got tore up. A lot of fast drivers ended up with some very solid damage on their race cars, and now they're going to be headed down pit side, looking to get a lot of work done to their cars here this afternoon. And I do believe a couple of them may have even gotten black flags. I'm not sure what the penalties are for, but it looks like for Josh Bromfield and Colton Manich, both gotten black flags here. I don't know if it was for the restart or if it was for something else, but you see the 0-0. It looks like his black flag is gone now, so they've gotten rid of his black flag. Now, Josh Bromfield still has one. We'll have to wait and see what the official call is there on that black flag and see if they get that fixed up, but as of yet, nothing so far. And now for all these drivers, again, this is going to be another restart, another chaotic one potentially. And then obviously you're going to have, for a lot of these drivers, that fuel savings is really going to start to matter right here. If they were tight on fuel, if they weren't quite certain if they were going to be able to make it to the end of this race without having to make another green flag pit stop, I think they're all feeling it right now. And for Jamison Heath, he decides, okay, I can't wait any longer. I got to come down pit road. And unfortunately for Heath, it's a black flag. Too fast entering pit road here under the caution flag. That is just a mistake you cannot have. Here, the 71 ride, I think this is the second time we've seen that from him today as well. For Jamison Heath, that was one of his, laps that he lost when he had his issue, was a black flag down pit road. And for Heath, this is just something you cannot do, man. It's sure the yellow flag, it's not even a green flag pit stop. You're getting yourself a black flag for entering pit road too fast there. That is a heartbreaker. That can definitely, throw away a good finish in a strong car and not give you the run that you're hoping for. So we'll have to wait and see, if the 71 ride, what the penalty may be. May have to make a pass-through penalty, may have to make a stop-and-go penalty here during the green flag conditions for that 71 machine, in which case we'll probably more than likely put him a lap down again out there on the racetrack, as we'll get them all ready to rock and roll. We'll get ready to go back to green flag racing, and again, it looks like lights are off the official iRacing pace car, and we're going to go back to green flag racing, but single file restart here, and that is always interesting, man. Here in NASCAR, and with these guys, we normally don't see single file restarts, but it seems like the admin crew, they're a little bit more easy to be persuaded, or a little bit more quicker on the trigger to go single file here. They want to see green flag laps. They want to see these restarts have not a lot of issues, and obviously pulling the trigger again here. I think this is the second or third time we've seen that tonight, that we've went to these single file restarts. And for the race leader, it works out really nicely for him, because it catches a lot of these guys off guard. And for Mike Gillingbeck, able to get a great launch, great jump there. Pulls, almost 7/10 of a second in front of Joshua Benton, just down into core number 1. Rob Lowell right there as well, our pole sitter, has shown some great speed in that number 21 ride, but fortunately, no paint scheme for him, and again, another caution flag. So the caution flag will be displayed here again. Now, I'm not sure if this one was just to try to get things kind of a little bit more organized here, or if there was maybe another issue here. I'm not too sure. I didn't see anyone really. Oh, there we go. We see someone around right there. I'm not sure who that is, but we know it's deeper in the field, so we're going to take a look and see. It's not Wayne Garland. He's still down pit side. It's the 71 of Jamison Heath. Heath is going to run into issues, so he's got them fresh tires, and obviously trying to take advantage of them, and loses a little bit right there, and then things start to stack up in front of him, and he's on the throttle. He's trying to get this big launch and big jump here, as you can kind of hear and see how he's kind of falling back a little bit. Things are stacked up, sees green lights on, so he's on the throttle hard, but as they stack in front of him, he just never gets checked up, runs right through the back end there. The 0-0 Colton Manich ends up with some pretty solid damage again onto the 71 ride. And for a driver that's already going to have to serve a black flag penalty here from speeding down pit road, he may have to make another trip down pit road to try to get some damage repair. But that is going to be another caution flag here. And We'll inch closer and closer to our checkered flag, and now we do see a lot of drivers making their way down pit road, so maybe they're feeling a little bit more confident, a little bit more comfortable. If they do make this pit stop, make sure they get topped up on fuel. If we do head to NASCAR overtime or anything else here in this feature event, then it could be the difference maker between being able to make it to the end of this race or having to make another pit stop here later on this evening to try to get that extra couple laps, 2, 3, 4 laps out there on the racetrack. But nonetheless, we're going to click off another couple laps here under yellow flags. So let's take a look and see if we can, we're going to get a quick little break in here, chat. We need to get a quick drink into us, and well, we may skip the rest of our crank it up, but we'll get a quick little intermission in here, and we'll get the, go through the ORL intro video here.
Check 1, 2, radio check. Still. On the bound through the corner, lane up through the trial zone. Not sure why we did that. I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everyone to get to the bottom. I think we should just run all out and wait till after the fourth pit. Out of the gas, slow down. He's got it right in front of me.
Here comes that number 15 of Cameron Combs. Combs are live with his Kurt Sponsler. Sponsler will pick up stage win. Mr. Garland and Garland leading the way, show these drivers how to get it done. Alrighty, is the green flag back out into the air here in the Landesco 400. Our season opener here with the Outcast Racing League is back underway in for the number 70 ride. It's Mike Killingback who's out in front looking to try to keep Grant Humphrey back there at bay, and Tyler Humphrey, our stage 1 and stage 2 winner, they're in position number 3 as the Must Love Poodles, the Panic crew, running right up there at the front of the field. Grant Humphrey's going to take over the race lead, and they do see his teammates, Chris Muse and Tyler Humphrey, back in 3rd and 4th, running pretty strong here this evening. And then Jonathan Byram up inside the top 5. So for the Mecca Motorsports team, man, great run here for Jonathan Byram. Now into that 5th position as we do see Jamison Heath having to serve that black flag penalty. He is down pit road here during the green flag conditions. And for the 71 ride, this is not a fun spot to be, especially this late in the race. Now, he's only got to hope that hopefully this hold is not too long, or if there is another caution flag, that he could be in line for the lucky dog to get himself back into the action. Now, I do believe for Michael Wolf in the 10, he has fallen a couple laps down here, so he will not be in the lucky dog spot if Jamison does lose a lap. Rob Tuwisku still multiple laps down here as well. Wayne Garland looks like he is potentially done for the day. He's down pit side since lap 94. Has not jumped back out there onto the racetrack. And for Brian Heeden, he has not joined us again as well. He lost connection back on lap number 58 and has not joined back into the race. So it looks like at least a few drivers maybe potentially done here today. But we still got a lot of fast cats on this lead lap. 23 drivers still in the action here, still with an opportunity and a possibility to try to win today's feature event. And a couple of those back deeper in the field, man. Some fast drivers. When we look back here, we see Colton Manich running in 19th. Johnny Barker there in position number 20. Rob Lowell back there as well in the 21st position for the 21 ride. Anthony Garland's there as well in 22nd. These are some pretty serious drivers that are back here deeper in the field that are going to be looking to try to march their way up and through the pack here, but unfortunately they're running out of time in a quick hurry. There's only 21 laps left to go here in this A-Main feature event. Only 21 more laps left to duke it out here on the Speedway, and if you're trying to race your way up here, if you're trying to give yourself an opportunity or a chance to try to win this race, now's the time to go, man. You cannot hold back. You cannot sit back. You got to be on the throttle. You got to be rolling as strong as possible here and trying to put yourself into a position to try to win this race. As the 48 of Grant Humphrey out in front, man, leading the way. The Humphreys have looked strong here this evening. We've even seen Grant himself run into issues, have to go to the back of the pack here as rakes his way back up to the front, and still got some good stage points. Ran really strong, and for the Must Love Poodles 48 ride, he's hoping to try to finish this thing off here for the team this afternoon. But right there behind him, Killingbeck still hanging on to that second spot, but man, it is Jonathan Byram making a late race charge here. Byram trying to work his way up and into second here. So for Byram, making some late race moves and putting together a pretty solid race here in our season opener. The 54 looking to try to join our top two for the first time here this afternoon. Chris Muse back there in fourth. Tyler Humphrey there in fifth. Looked like they really had nothing for him, and hey, watch out from Byron work himself right on by them and up to Killingbeck, and he's still trying to figure out a way to get around Killingbeck. Just hasn't quite been able to make that pass as of yet. For Chris Wolford, he's there in that red Baron number 51 ride, rolling in the sixth position. Josh Bromfield in his Outcast Racing League, Poor Boy Motorsports, a number 12 ride. They're in seventh with Brandon Puffenbarger. We talked about Puffenbarger earlier on. You know, we got tied up in a couple of issues, then kind of just hung out there at the back of the pack, really just trying to save his stuff, trying to keep himself out of any, early race issues. He even gave up some stage points just to keep himself out of that action in Carnage, and here he is late in the race, though, making a great comeback and finds himself up inside the top 8 and looking for more out there on the racetrack as James Garland in the Vanguard Sim Racing number 37 there in 9th, and Joshua Benton rounding out our top 10 here on the Speedway. Tom Salvo's there in 11th with Corey Crowell, Edward Belair, Mark Belair in 13th and 14th. Nicholas Barton back in 15th. Then we do see Gary Wright in the 16 ride. Ryan Anderson back there in that 44. Colton Manich in the 0-0 back in the 18th spot here. And now for managing these guys, man, I don't know if it was just the contact, maybe some damage now on their race cars, but they are definitely a lot more off the pace, or maybe they're just trying to save a little bit of fuel. Maybe they know that fuel may still be an issue, but you see that Shenko Custom Diecast 0-0 ride get very loose there at a core number 2. Luckily enough, able to hang on to it, but here comes another slew of drivers as the 24 ride, the 6 ride there of Johnny Barker. Looks like Barker's trying to make that pass here. Shot down to the inside, just can't quite complete it. We'll see if he can pass him here at a core number 4, and it looks like he will clear Colton Manich. So Manich falls back another spot here, and now falls back into the 20th position as Johnny Barker gets around him. Colton Manich right there, though, in 20th with Darrell Whitford. Davin Black back in 22nd. Anthony Garland right there in that battle for 22nd, 23rd here. Duking it out back there at the back of the pack. Jamison Heath is a lap down here. Actually, he might be 2 laps down out there on the racetrack, and that's a heartbreaker. I'm not sure if you'll get a couple lucky dunks or not this late in the race, but it's still a possibility. So the night's not done until it's done for that 71 run at Jameson Heath. Just gotta hope no more, late race mistakes or black flags down pit side to potentially take him out of the running here for a good finish this afternoon. Michael Wolf in that 24 ride does find himself about 4 laps down out there on the Speedway. Rob Tuwiscu finds himself about 8 laps down out there, or 6 laps down out there on the racetrack, something like that. And then, unfortunately for Wayne Garland, he is about 10 laps, 11 laps down. And Brian Heeden, unfortunately, out of this race. But good to see Wayne jump back out there. Obviously, for a lot of these drivers, trying to get every point they can, trying to run as many laps as they can. As even if you are, 4 to 10 laps to 12 laps down out there on the racetrack, every single lap you can run, every little bit that you're behind the wheel and getting to, kind of learn that experience and have that seat time can definitely help you out in future races, certain, different leagues or anything else, or anything. The next time that you're just running here at Auto Club Speedway for fun, maybe you can kind of learn a little something or figure something out here late in this race, and just getting that seat time may help you figure out this racetrack a little bit more, and may turn your misfortunes into good fortunes here in the next time you're right there on the racetrack. But for Grant Humphrey, he continues to lead the way, but you do see Jonathan Byram, they've kind of chewed up and spat out Mike Killingback, as he's now back in 4th. Byram's up into 2nd. Chris Muse back into 3rd here in his beautiful Must Love Poodles number 3 ride. And then you do see, obviously, Killingback's back and 4th. Chris Wolford's worked his way up into 5th. And for Tyler Humphrey, he's back here in that 6th position. He's got Brandon Puffenbarger and Josh Bromfield, James Garland, Joshua Benton, all right there, ready to pounce, ready to try to work their way around this Landesco number 9 ride. And after winning the first 2 stages of this afternoon for the 9 machine, falling back here to 6th, 7th position, maybe even farther back, man. He's running out of time. If he's going to have something up his sleeve for late in this race, he may have to take advantage of that right now. I don't think he can wait any longer. And we do see a couple more drivers kind of bailing out of it. The 37 of James Garland makes his way down pit road. Need to get some extra fuel into this Vanguard sim racing ride, and so did his teammate in the 8 of Tuwiscu. And unfortunately for James Garland, he gets a black flag, too fast entering pit road. This will hold him down pit side in this late in the race. And that's a heartbreaker there for James Garland. Was having a good run up inside the top 10, but this is probably going to take him out of the running and out of contention here this evening. You see his teammate Tuwiscu, who's already multiple laps down. He's going to go for a spin here on pit road. No caution flag will come out as he's off the racing line, and he'll get rolling again. Luckily enough, this time the car will stay in one direction, and we'll keep on battling out there on the Speedway. But for Grant Humphrey, Grant's still out in front, man, and the verdict's still not out, man. That 3 machine of Chris Muse, I know he would love to jump up, getting that 3 car back into his name, obviously with a new team, new sponsor on the side of that ride. I know Muse would love to jump up here and try to duke it out with Grant Humphrey and try to make it a 1-2 finish for the Must Love Poodles rides. And for Tyler Humphrey, you know, wonder when does he go? If he's saving, if he's kind of holding back here throughout this run, when is go time? When do you start to roll more into the throttle and try to gain these spots back up? Or maybe he's just a little bit shy on fuel still and just trying to save enough that he can make it through this end of the race, and maybe just has to give up these positions to save that extra little bit of fuel. But for the 9 rides, still door-to-door here with Brandon Puffenbarger for position number 6. You see the 12 ride of Joshua Bromfield right there with him, but out in front it is Tyler's twin brother, 48 of Grant Humphrey, who will click off another lap. Is down and across the line. They complete lap 116. So 116 laps completed. 9 laps left to go here from Auto Club Speedway. As Grant Humphrey out in front. Jonathan Byron there in position number 2. So for the Mecha Motorsports ride, he is looking to try to hunt down Grant Humphrey, but he's got his own worst enemy there to his outside. It's Chris Muse. Muse is going to get a great run down the back straightaway. He'll jump up into second. It is now Must Love Poodles first and second out there on the Speedway. And for Jonathan Byram, that's going to make things that much tougher for him, as now not only does he have to try to reel in that 48 ride, but he's also got to try to work his way back around Chris Muse and still has to try to figure out a way to get around Grant Humphrey on the Speedways. Must Love Poodles says, looking good, Grant. Looking good, looking strong out there, and I'm sure for Grant Humphrey, that's going to make him feel a lot more confident and maybe a little bit safer here late in this race, knowing and being able to look in that rear view mirror and see that he's got a must-love Poodles teammate back there behind him on the racetrack as Chris Muse in position number 2. Byram there in third. Mike Killingbeck still hold on to the 4th position with Chris Wolford in position number 5. They're duking it out, and unfortunately, here we go. Jonathan Byram can't make it to the end. He's got a pit, so Byram down pit side. Tyler Humphrey also down pit road, and here comes Josh Bromfield, and this is what we talked about. There was a lot of drivers that I think were right on the edge of being able to make it on fuel and not being able to make it on fuel. Now, they had a lot of caution laps. They didn't have a lot of green flag runs, so how much are these other drivers really saving? And when we look back here, we've seen, obviously, Johnny Barker. We've seen Darrell Whitford, Colton Manich, Anthony Garland. These guys have been really saving a ton here aggressively. And that's why we saw these guys deeper in the pack and just being so far back there. Maybe this will work out into their favor. Maybe if they can make it to the end here and they can save enough fuel, maybe that'll put them into the winning position. As here we go, we do see Grant Humphrey now down pit side. Chris Muse down pit side. You saw Mike Killingbeck also down pit road, but for the 70 machine of Killingbeck, got a little bit loose right there. Almost went around. You see Dom Salvo able to catch up to him, but man, there's a lot of drivers that have yet to come down pit road and make this pit stop, and this may be some very nerve-wracking times if you're any of the Humphrey drivers, if you're Chris Muse, if you're Killingbeck, Dom Salvo, any of these guys who have made green flag pit stops here, including Byram, Josh Bromfield, all these cats, man. If you don't catch this full cycle, if somebody can make it on fuel, they can steal this race away from you, as we do see Chris Wolford now working his way down pit road, and there's only 5 laps left to go here in this race. So for Brandon Puffenbarger, does this fall into his laps? Does he got enough here? Can he pick up the checkered flag this afternoon as there's contact back behind him? Look out, this may bring out a caution flag. We do see, I believe that is Mike Killingbeck. Oh no, Killingbeck goes for a loop-de-loop here down the back straightaway. Let's throw it into reverse and take a look and see what happens here as him and Dom Salvo tight together, and down out of corner number 2, Salvo just gets the inside, makes contact with the 70, hooks him there a bit, and sends him into the inside fence. Oh, no, it looks like he's able to avoid contact, but no caution flag right there. That would have been a big one to really, make things that much more interesting here late in this race, going to potential NASCAR overtime. But out in front, Brandon Puffenbarger continues to lead the way. Joshua Benton now into second. Corey Crowell there in third, with Nicholas Barton up and in the fourth. Gary Wright's there in fifth. Mark Belair. Rob Lowell's there in sixth. Then we see Johnny Barker, Edward Belair, Ryan Anderson, Colton Manich back in 11th. But how much farther can these guys go, as here comes Brandon Puffenbarger. Puffenbarger can't make it that much farther. Has to come down pit road. Man, this could be a nail-biter, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. Will they be able to make it here? Another 2.5 laps out on the racetrack. Will somebody potentially, inside our top 13 be able to make it? You take a look back here at Grant Humphrey. Grant Humphrey is running in 14th. He's the highest running driver that has gotten that final pit stop in here, the late race pit stop. So you got to wonder, where will everything stack up, and will he be able to jump back out in front? As we do see Chris Muse, he would be back in about the, I think, third position here, as Chris Wolford would be jumping in front of him here. Muse looking to try to work his way around that 51 right, as now we do see Gary Wright and Mark Belair both head down pit road. So a couple more drivers can't make it on fuel, but there's only a couple laps left to go in this race. Joshua Benton continues to lead the way. Corey Crowell back there in second. Is Crowell good on fuel? What about Nicholas Barton back here in the 22 right? Can he pick up the checkered flag here this evening? I think these drivers are going to be running on fumes, but I think at this point there's no way you come down pit road. You gotta run it dry, and you gotta hope for the best. And for the 69er ride of Joshua Benton, he sees that White flag fly. So the white flag is displayed. Can the Penn's Oil 69 ride pull a little Joey Logano magic here this afternoon and have enough fuel to get to the end of this race? I'm not sure. Looks like he may be out of fuel. Looks like Joshua Benton is out. He is out. Corey Crowell will take over the race lead. So Crowell, now in the top spot, has got the race lead here this afternoon. And down and out of corner number 4, will he make it here on fuel? Looks like he's going to have the momentum. He's going to have the speed. And back down across the line, it's Corey Crowell who picks up the dub and will pull the number 2 up and into victory lane here this afternoon. Corey Crowell picks up the win. A newcomer to the series, Rob Lowell, will come home in second, and another new driver here to the series, the Wolfpack Racing number 6 of Johnny Barker, will come home in third. Nicholas Barton out of fuel, but I do believe got across the line. And for Barton comes home in fourth. And I believe for the 44 rider, Ryan Anderson, he'll come home in that 5th position. Colton Manich back in 6th. Anthony Garland finishes in 7th. Edward Belair, Devin Black are top 9. And Grant Humphrey, who was leading there late in this race, be the first tanker down pit side here to get that extra bit of splashing gas here. Comes home in the 10th position, and taking the white flag, it was Joshua Benton who had the race lead. Benton, unfortunately, ran out of fuel at corner number 2. He finishes this race back in the 14th position. Tough finish there for that number 69 ride. Unfortunately, that is not what you want to have happen on the final lap. You want to make sure you can make it there. Unfortunately, we're just that little bit short. And then we saw a battle here between, I do believe this is the 51 ride of Chris Wolford and Chris Muse. And they end up making contact here. I believe this is the smoke we saw at a corner number 4. Yeah, here we go. So they make contact in the 51, the 3 ride. Let's take another look at it. I don't know if the 3 comes down or if the 51 gets up into them. But nonetheless, they make some late race contact as for Chris Muse. He's trying to keep on battling here and gets a little loose right there. 51 gets up into him and just kind of hooks him right there and turns him around. And for Chris Muse goes for a loop-de-loop down into the infield. Then our race leaders will pass him. Unfortunately for Chris Muse, finishes back in the 20th position here this afternoon. But for Corey Crowell, I think that thing's out of fuel. No burnouts here this afternoon for the number 2 ride. But we'll get ready to pull Corey and the rest of our top 3 up here into the broadcast booth for their post-race interviews right now. Post-race interviews coming right up here at you as Corey Crowell picks up the dub. Hey, Corey, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. You get a copy?
I do, Aaron. What's going on?
Now, watch Corey, man. What a run. What a race, man. Take us back through this one because obviously there was a lot of craziness. Obviously, quite a few caution flags there. Really broke these stages up. So you guys had us guessing here in the broadcast booth on how far you guys could make it, how far you guys could go on fuel. I kind of thought everyone was going to be good there for a lot of the guys that came down pit road on lap 99, lap 100. I was quite surprised that we didn't see more of these front runners like Grant Humphrey and Tyler Humphrey and all these guys, make that additional pit stop late in this race, but wanting that track position and obviously fuel still being really, really tight there, even pitting on lap 99. It became just a fuel strategy call, and for yourself, man, it worked out perfectly because out of corner number 2, it looked like it was potentially going to go to that 69 ride of Joshua Benton, but he runs out of fuel in the final lap. You're able to drive right on by him and drive yourself up here into victory lane, man. Take us back through it, and what's going through your mind after a crazy finish to this one?
Yeah, absolutely. First stage, it felt like I was involved in every little incident. Same thing for the second stage. So, I right off the rip, I had to lock it down on the apron when I got tagged, and it kind of put me behind the curveball and the tires. So I had to save. So I didn't want to take tires after the first stage. So I wanted to save it. So I had to save tires. So just kind of riding around in the back. Working my way up there. I think I got all the way up to 10th at one point during the second stage. Then I had to use the bathroom break, so went back to the back. Then just worked my way up front, and then we had that single file restart, and I don't know what happened, but it was a disaster. It was like ping pong balls for all of us, and you know, it's a simple concept. Green flag goes. Once the car in front of you goes, you just go, right? But it's the lagging back in between going up to it, and then they jump it, and then the one behind it jump it, and it's accordion, and it just messes everything up. It's fine for the front runners up front, but it's worse for the ones in the back. But so got damage there. Didn't have to use the fast repair. Saved it just in case. But then yeah, noticed that I was a couple laps short and fuel. I just saved. Just kind of rolled the bottom. Used the draft of whoever was in front of me as much as I possibly can, and I thought Benton was gonna be okay with it because he was riding behind Jamie Garland, but the beginning of it, I was questioning. I was like, man, why is he sitting? If it was me, I don't know why he's sitting side by side with him. I'd just tuck behind him. He's not for position, but he's gonna help you with the fuel. But yeah, I last lap I still had 1.5 left, so I was like, all right, it's time to rip the top. So I started ripping the top, and I come off of the turn 2, and he wasn't going. So I was like, well, guess I can go back to the bottom. So yeah, up and down race. It was a good race. You know, glad I can save. So yeah, we're here in victory lane.
Yeah, absolutely. A crazy finish to this one. Obviously, tight racing there, tight fuel numbers for all these drivers, and it was just really fun to see kind of how one by one we started to see these guys make their way down pit road. It looked like maybe Poffenbarger was going to have it there for a bit, and then there was a couple other drivers, and slowly but surely they started to just fall off, and all of a sudden, you, Benton, Rob, Lowell, and Barger here, a couple newcomers to the series, all kind of fall in line here and end up getting, really good finishes out of this race, and good heads-up racing even for Nicholas Barton there. He was able to make it to the end. He did run out of fuel. I think he would have had a top 3 performance if it wasn't for being just a little bit shy here this afternoon himself, but still comes on with a 4th place run, and then another newcomer to the series in their first races. We got 3 of our top 5 picking up, top 5 performances here in their Outcast Racing League season openers. Man, this is pretty incredible to see. Not very often that we see, new drivers kind of jump in here, not really dominate the races like they were kind of sandbagging in the, pre-races or knocking their iRating down or anything else, and just beating everybody. They played the strategy. They played their cards. They were up and down. They were leading some laps here. Obviously, we saw Rob pick up the pole position, and here they are getting paid off for just, playing the strategy right, and they were right there behind you in 2nd, 3rd, and then that 5th position for Anderson.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of these newer guys, they're clean, and they're fast. So it's awesome to see. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you guys. But yeah, I didn't have any issues with any of the new guys. In fact, I didn't really have any issues with anybody out here tonight. Just getting caught up in a wreck. That's about it. But yeah, so awesome to see them up there. It was a great team event for us. We're a new team. It's me and Puff together. Now I know Colton and Dom, but they're new to the team. But yeah, a lot of great communication. Puff really helped me out there on that coming, to this last run. He knew he wasn't going to make it. He was short, so he essentially, ran those guys hard to make them burn up their fuel. So, huge shout out to him. I thank him for that. Huge shout out to Colton and Dom for discussing strategies and, communicating during the race. But yeah, great day.
Yeah, great day, great run, and great performance for you here as you pick up our Season 11 opener here at the Outcast Racing League as you park that 2 Ryan up and in the Auto Club Speedway victory lane here this evening. Corey, man, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack?
I want to thank you, Aaron, for broadcasting it. I want to thank everybody from the admin team of ORL for continuing to put this on. Everybody that participated in the race. Everybody that's watching the broadcast, we appreciate all them. And then, for sure want to thank my teammates, at MFM for helping me out. But yeah, now we can sit back and watch the actual race.
Yeah, absolutely. Get to catch the tail end there at Coda, which should be exciting, especially if there's any late race caution flags there in that one. But hopefully it'll be a crazy one. Hopefully it'll be exciting. I don't know, what is there, 25 laps to go. I don't know if I'll still be able to catch it. I'll be back up here in the booth in 40 minutes from now, maybe 50 minutes for another broadcast here for our second of 3 on the night. So not too much NASCAR racing for me to be able to watch and enjoy here for the next foreseeable future, because man, Outcast Racing League's back. All you guys are back out there, and the season's just getting underway, man. Gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm happy to have you guys back out there on the racetrack, and happy to have you right back up here in the broadcast booth, Corey. Congrats on the win. Congrats on the great run, the great strategy call there, and being able to pick up the checkered flag here in our season opener, brother. We can't wait to see you back out there next Sunday. Maybe right back up here in Victory Lane.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be talking to you in the P1 spot again.
Beauty. We look forward to it, mister. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You as well.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for the 2-rider, Corey Crowell, as Crowell picks up the checkered flag and parks that 2-car in Victory Lane here at Auto Club Speedways. We'll get ready now to pull in our second place finisher, one of the newcomers to the series, the 21. Rob Lowell will pick up the checkered flag here this evening. Let's get Rob up here into the booth. Hey, Rob, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, how you doing tonight?
Not too bad, Rob, man. Great run, great race for you as your first broadcasted race here with the Outcast Racing League. And obviously, you got off to a hot start here this afternoon, man. Qualifying in that pole position, the 21 ride was a hot rod out there on the racetrack. You say you leading some laps, battling, duking it out there at the front of the field. And, you know, midway through this race, got tied up in a couple different things and caught up in a couple different strategies. And then late in this race, obviously, on that same call as, you know, majority of our top 10 here was save. Try to get to the end, and man, it was worked out perfectly for you. I mean, minus 1 car, you know, extra running out of fuel here. You were only, you know, maybe half a track, quarter of a track away from potentially picking up the checkered flag yourself here this afternoon in your first Outcast Racing League performance.
Actually, I ran one race back in 2022 with them. I think Anthony told me it was Atlanta. I can't remember. I didn't remember doing it, but he told me the other night I had. So, yeah, Johnny and I came in tonight with no expectations. I'm having paint issues. I have re-downloaded trading paints. I've emptied my paint folder. I did everything I could the hour of practice trying to figure out what was going on. I raced this morning in an official race. My paint was fine. So, don't know what went on there. So, sorry about the plain white car.
Hey, it's all good, brother.
I got another race in an hour. That's a playoff race. So I got to figure that out before then. Actually, just uninstalled iRacing and I'm reinstalling it right now. So
oh gosh, yeah,
I've done everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I screwed up in practice. I got the car way too free. I made some major moves on the master cylinder that came back to bite me in the race. I was just too free early on, and I got myself in trouble a couple times and. Trying not to put a lot of wheel in it. I got tight, got into the, I believe it was the 11 to Mark there. That was all on me. I apologize to him for screwing up his race. And then, I don't know, probably like 7 to go. I didn't take tires. Other guys took tires. And I expected to drop to the back, but I maintained it. Actually got up like 10th. And that let me take tires late and top off at fuel. John and I were talking in our Discord. And we said, hey, let's try to just get this, steal one on fuel mileage. And then we just, from the start of that green, we started rolling the bottom, clutching. You know, I was clutching at the 3, getting into 1, and almost all the way to exit, and kind of the same thing over at turn 3 and 4. And with like 5 to go, I realized I had a couple laps to the good, so I just stepped on it and got by some guys that were trying to save fuel, and got by a couple guys that ran out.
Yeah, absolutely. Able to gain, obviously, a lot of positions late in this race. When they start coming down pit road, you're seeing them, you know, continue to fall off the racetrack, off the pace there, and you're just hoping that one more car runs out there on that final lap. Unfortunately, Corey Crowell able to save enough to win this race, but you're able to back up your pole position here, and you park the 21 up here in position number 2 this afternoon, man. Great run, great performance, great strategy call here late in the race to pick up a very solid start to the season for you. Rob, who would you like to thank for the great performance out there on the racetrack?
I want to thank my Wolfpack teammates here in this league and in our other league. Actually, we raced Michigan tonight in our other league, and we've been practicing fuel saving there all week. So it really helped me tonight. So I want to thank Johnny Barker, who finished 3rd. I want to thank my teammates Steve Ritter and Nick Larson. we spent probably 2 hours this morning running a practice race in Michigan, working on them about fuel saving. So without them, I probably wouldn't have realized I could save what we needed to save there on that run. So thanks to them. I want to thank Anthony, all the admins, Outcast Racing League, and you yourself here with Peacemaker for putting on this league and doing the broadcast.
Absolutely, brother. Always my pleasure. And I believe I was broadcasting for these guys in 2022. I couldn't remember if you have raced in here before or not. I didn't think you had, and the information I got earlier from Humphrey was that you were new to the series. So I mean, making your second appearance and well, huge welcome back, I guess, here to the league, man. And it's great to see you be able to jump right in here, have a run like you did, have the speed, win in that pole position, finishing off here in second, man. And hopefully we'll see you back out there for the entirety of the series and entirety of the year, and potentially, battle for more great wins and great races here like you did today.
Yeah, I hope so. It should be fun. I'm looking forward to the season.
Absolutely, man. And we're looking forward to seeing you back out there next Sunday afternoon. Rob, enjoy the rest of your night, and congrats again on the second place drive.
Thank you, too. Have a good night.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for the number 21, Rob Lowell, as Lowell will come home in position number 2, as we'll get ready now to pull in our third place finisher, the number 6 of Johnny Barker. Hey, Johnny, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Taking a copy?
I gotcha.
Johnny, man, great run, great drive for you here this afternoon. Obviously, we've seen a lot of speed out of this sixth ride. We've seen you, working your way up to the front. You were leading some laps out there on the racetrack, and slowly but surely, obviously, making that strategy call late in this race to, go for that fuel-saving strategy call. And for you and your teammate Rob, man, it works out pretty nicely for you guys. Obviously, needed one more spot to claim the victory, but a second and third place performance has got to feel pretty solid here for not only yourself, but also your teammate here this evening.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like I said, I was kind of second guessing there at the end, but Rob kept telling me we're going to be all right, and I don't know. And it worked out, so. But yeah, I had a blast. Had good speed all day. Man, it was a fun race.
Yeah, definitely a very fun race. A lot of back and forth, a lot of different strategy calls played out throughout this afternoon, and obviously here in this one, man, some great speed out of you. Looked good out there on the racetrack. That Wolfpack Racing ride was hooked up here this afternoon, and you're able to back it up with this third place finish. But man, take us back kind of, through that call. How tight were you guys on fuel here at the end of this race, and was there ever a thought across your mind that, hey, you know what, we're not going to make it, or we're going to be giving up too much time, saving so much that it may not end up working into our favor anyway?
Yeah, it was. Like I said, it was getting closer at the end. I think I had about right at a lap left when we finished. But Rob really, I wasn't saving as good till Rob, he told me where he was clutching at, and once I started doing that, I was able to save, and then I felt like I was gonna make it. But then I was worried about how much we was giving up too. So yeah, it was it was stressful there for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely stressful. It's always, just clicking the calculator, looking at that relative, trying to figure out, either how much you need to save or if you're going to make it or not there late in this race. And luckily enough, you and your teammate, you stick with it. You come home with a second and third place run here to start this season, man. That's got to feel nice to be able to get the season opener kind of underway here in the Outcast Racing League, and you get two cats up and on the podium this afternoon. And for yourself, rounding out the podium, man, it's got to feel good to be able to jump in here with a lot of our series regulars and show them that, you got the stuff, you got that strategy, you got the car, you got the speed, that you're going to be right here competing and battling with them all season long.
Yeah, I hope I can keep it up. Man, I tell you, over the years of racing, I've had some bad luck, and so hey, I take it starting out good. First points race and coming home in third. Like I said, I'm happy with it, and like I said, Rob's good with the strategy on the fuel, and like I say, he helped me out a lot with that. So definitely got to give a shout out to him for that.
Absolutely. Well, Johnny, after your third place run here today, anyone else you'd like to thank for such a great performance there on the racetrack?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Outcast Racing League for giving me a chance to race with them this year, and look forward to doing that. And thank you for the broadcast. I'm going to jump off and watch it now, so well, that's about it.
Beauty. Well, Johnny, enjoy the rest of your night, man. Congrats on the third place run, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here, maybe back in the broadcast booth again next Sunday night.
We sure hope so. Thank you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
All right.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Johnny Barker. As Barker comes home in position number 3, man. Great run, great drive, great performance for the number 6 machine here this evening, man. That was a lot of fun. That was a great race and great performance for each and every one of these competitors, man. That was a ton of fun, and we can't wait to see the Outcast Racing League back in action again next Sunday night. Next Sunday night, man. More action, more racing, more fun here in the sun as we head to the beautiful, always sunny Phoenix Raceway. So we go from, Auto Club, big 2-mile racetrack, now into more of that 1-mile short track here next Sunday night. So could get a little bit dicey, could get a little bit frisky and risky there tomorrow or next Sunday, and it's going to be a lot of fun. But unfortunately, that will do it for us here in this one, man. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and enjoying a great show and a great race here this evening. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, hit the like on the stream for us right now, hit that thumbs up button. Even if you're rewatching the broadcast, make sure you hit that subscribe button, become part of the Peacemaker family, and definitely make sure that you guys turn those bell notifications on. That way you never miss it when we go live here on Peacemaker. As we're going to be back live here in just a little bit here. Probably, well, somewhere around 6:50 we'll be live again with, we got the it's the Speedway Alliance Racing League. The Speedway Alliance Racing League here in just a little bit. We'll be back live. We actually have the factory stocks, which are the Monte Carlos, the Camaros. They're going to be on the racetrack, but it's not asphalt racing, it's dirt track racing, and it's a ton of fun. It is a blast. These things are absolutely slipping and sliding out there on the racetrack, and they're looking to put together another amazing race for us here tonight. So make sure you guys tune into that one, and then we're back into the NASCAR action later on this evening. After that race at 8 o'clock Eastern time, we're back in the booth for our third race, our third broadcast of the night with the Wheel to Wheel Racing League, and gonna be some more fun, some more great racing and battling here with our second NASCAR race of the afternoon in just a little bit. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in here. Super happy to see the Outcast Racing League back in action, and we'll see you guys back in here in just a little bit later on here this afternoon. But thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll catch y'all here in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love. Man, that was a ton of fun. Such a great race, great drive. Huge congratulations again to our race winner, Mr. Corey Crowell. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's going to do it for us here in this one. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Radio check.
Engines roar louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast League, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends never out of sight. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than and a surgeon's hand, chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight, tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends never out of sight. Racetrack gladiators, helmets on tight. Every second matters, every turn ignites. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray. Raging roar, louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the fray.